A part of it. I do have to step into it. That's what I realized.
Hop in.
Exactly. Exactly. Life has been different since.
Alright, boys, we are live.
We're live?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna raid in. We still got
Okay.
a couple people in, so.
All right, guys. We're going to get started in just a second here. Just waiting for the raid from Spider-Man booth. But thank you guys for tuning in. You are joining us here on TSMB and Friends. We're going to get started in just a second. Let me know when we're... Oh, I think I hear Ryan giving us the raid. But all right, guys, let's just get started. Thanks for being here. I'm Brian from That Spider-Man booth. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I have the privilege of being here today with a local legend. Zander6comix is joining us here for one of our first podcasts that we're going to be doing. So thank you, Zander, for being here and taking the time. Appreciate you. As always, it's a pleasure. We're going to hop right in here. You guys know Zander from a lot recently from doing some Dream Killahs covers for us for Paris Entertainment. He's I knew him first here from Ninja Exchange. He was a vendor here. That was my first interaction with Zander. He's a great soul, man. He's a very creative guy, very fun person to be around. Creative talent in his own right. So again, Zander, thanks for being here and taking the time.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
And it's going to be fun. We want to give everyone on the channel who knows you from doing those live remarks on the show, we want to give everyone like a deeper dive with you to really get to know you. So let's jump right in. I usually like to start with a background, someone's background. So explain to us and all the viewers, just where do you come from? Zander the person more before you come Zander the artist. Where do you start at? Where were you born and raised? Like, give us that tale.
For sure, for sure. Well, San Diego, that's where I was born and raised. So I'm here. I'm not leaving. And then so I started my art journey when I was like really young. And
Really?
So that's that. I mean, like probably like my first memories is me drawing, tracing color books and coloring inside of coloring books.
Heck
But
yeah.
as a person, I mean, it's kind of synonymous, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. My dad is an artist. My mom is a businesswoman, and so like I, at a certain point, collided those two worlds together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and when I was 18, that's kind of when it all happened. But yeah, San Diego, born and raised. I love comic books. I love toys, and that's just really what it is. Now I'm creating those.
Nice. Nice. Any comics in particular that really kind of pushed you forward or that you always remembered as a kid? Like,
For sure. Well, Spider-Man's my favorite character of all time. Batman's
Sick.
second.
yeah, those are my two right there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the best too. And then now in my adult life, it's Spawn, but that's really just because he is Batman and Spider-Man too.
Yeah. That's creation of Todd. That definitely, you can see the inspiration from both. So is there anything that you want to like share with us? Any like tremendous, parts from your upbringing that really like made the push? That was there anything like that really inspired you more to become, like take down the artist path? I know you said your dad was like an artist.
Yeah, he did SFX makeup, like that statue too.
Yeah, I saw the IG story when that
Yeah.
was with the Bella out there, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
exactly.
you and your dad.
Yeah, that's I painted it. He sculpted it out of paper, but that's like what he used to do for every birthday, make piñatas and stuff. And one of the piñatas that he made a long time ago was a Captain America one. It was for my brother.
Oh, cool.
But he covered it with latex, and so it was rubber.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't break it. And one of the bats like literally hit one of my friends in the face.
Oh.
And so like those are like it's just like funny little things that always have some sort of artwork that started the pathway for me. But just in general, I'm 27, so when Spider-Man 1 came out, the Tobey Maguire one,
Oh yeah.
and like
Big movie.
X-Men, like I was a little kid right at the start of
Enamored, man.
that. So that brought me into the world of comic books, and then comic books itself kind of started the whole aspect of me wanting to do the art.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's always been in my life. So I don't know if there's really like one situation that really started it all. I never went to Comic Cons like as a kid. So my first Comic Con, I worked it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was
So
the opposite. I always attended, and then this past year was the first time I ever worked like on the vending side.
right, right. Yeah,
That
that's
was-
that's dope though, cause I mean I always would hear kids stories about and like all the free stuff they get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it's like I always felt left out of that. But I always had TV shows and movies and actual comic books and action figures. So, and my dad was like an at-home dad, so he played with us. You know, we were always playing football and
That's cool.
basketball and throwing whatever type of ball around. But just I had a good upbringing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, that's cool. That's always cool to hear. Like anytime father-son collabs. I know the Bella out there is like a huge piece. That's I see it every time I come in here. It sticks out.
For
Very
sure.
cool piece. What about your journey here? Like, because when I first met you, you had the booth right over there at Ninja. Like,
Yes.
what kind of where's that chapter from? Like, what brought you into the vending side? And I think from conversations I've had with you prior, like you've had booths or like you've done like some vending.
A whole
before
bunch of
Venda,
vending,
right?
Yeah. So actually, by the time I got to Ninja Exchange, I made it an office instead of a store, but it kind of had a store vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really just to display myself and all my friends' work that I've met along the way. Because I was doing I started out almost 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
At the swap meets at Kobe swap meet.
That's exactly where you told me from
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
So that's where it all started for me. Like I graduated high school and I immediately went to the Kobe swap meet to go sell my artwork.
Oh, dope.
I didn't have a table. I didn't have any panels to put stuff on the walls. I didn't even have a canopy, so I would be burnt every time I was there. But I would sell my artwork off of a tarp at the swap meet, and that's how I got the first steps in.
Yeah.
And the entire time I was literally going, I want to make a store. You know, I want to have a physical place. So every step of the way, I built upon that vision, and I saw where I was gonna take it at the swap meet. And then, you know, you fast forward about 7 to 8 years later, I'm doing my first Comic Con. I'm doing my first Toy Cons, and I'm like, well, I want to do this forever now. I don't want to go
Yeah.
back to a street market, a swap meet, a night market. I'm done.
Yeah.
I did a tour that was 250 pop-ups in the year 2022.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was done. Like, so by the time I met you guys through here, because I had been around when this place first came out, I had been around, but I was hustling and promoting shows that I had put together. So I didn't have a spot here, but I was always passing out flyers and asking all the vendors and stuff if I could put my flyer down. And that's how I established a lot of relationships with you guys.
Did you meet Josh from Kobe's? Because I think he was.
Yes.
That's how. Was that your in to Ninja Exchange as a whole? Like, did you talk to Josh at first?
Yeah, so Josh came up to. It was actually my last Kobe swap meet pop up I ever did, and Josh came over. I literally was telling my wife, I go, I want to do comic book events, you know.
Yeah.
And San Diego Comic Con is so expensive, and I didn't know
It is,
about
yeah.
all the Comic Cons across the board. So I was like, I want to see if there's gonna be some comic book stuff that like pops up, and boom, there comes Josh telling me about this vision that he has for this place, and I didn't get on it right away because I essentially couldn't afford it, even though it was such a great deal.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Everyone flooded here, but I knew a lot of the cats from Kobe Swap Meet. They're all here now, so a lot of these guys like Rick's Pops, Evolution Toys, they saw me selling my artwork on the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they saw me coming from the ground up, and those were the first people that I came to put my flyers down. You know, hey, can I put a stack here? I'm promoting a show over here at this comic book shop.
Yeah.
And Josh, I would always ask Josh if it was okay if I come to promote stuff, and he was like, yeah, dude, go ahead. You know, feel free.
That's so.
The biggest one that I did that really changed everything for me was they did the Jim Lee event in 2024 or 2023.
The first one.
The first one, yeah, the first one. So it was 23.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked Josh, I was like, would it be okay if I can pass out these flyers to the line going to Jim Lee? He's like, yeah, bro, come on down. And that's when I first met Jim Lee, but it wasn't at his booth. It was right out. He was right next to Josh. I was asking Josh, I didn't see Jim. I was asking Josh, like, where's the signing at?
And yeah, Jim's a shorter guy, so you just probably didn't even
Josh
see
turned
him.
Josh turned his shoulder, and that's
was
how I saw
hiding
him.
him?
Right? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
hiding. No, he really truly was. It was like him and his people were like I don't think they wanted to just blow up the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Where's the signing at?" Because I can't find the line. I thought it would be up at the front, and it was over here in this area. And he goes, "Oh, it's over there, but this is Jim right here." And he turned his shoulder, and boom, there's Jim Lee. I have a stack of flyers from my knee to my chin, and I literally bounced the flyers, and they could have all fell, but I felt the comic book gods were with me.
Yeah, dude.
And he goes, "What do you got there?" And Jim did, and I gave him a flyer, and I go, "Beers and Comics. This is one of my events." He's like, "Oh, Beers and Comics. I love that. That's awesome. Maybe we'll go." I go, "Don't gas me up, sir." And then I thanked him for his contribution, because what they did, I can be here, you know what I mean, doing this.
Absolutely.
And so that was the start of the change in my life, because now I'm right in front of the people that I look up to. I had met Todd McFarlane just a month before at San Diego Comic-Con. Shouldn't have been in there. I got a pass for 2 hours, and I met him.
I know exactly what you mean when Jim came here the last time. Yeah, there was our booth over here was like the green room for those guys, and yeah, I remember Jim and Scott were talking back there, and it was I had this exact same feeling. You worded it just how I did. Like, I shouldn't be in this room.
Right. That's what it feels.
Yeah, and they were just going over some sketches and or not sketches. They were going over some pages they were working on for for a project they have going on.
Right.
And it was just like, I was geeking out big time.
Right.
I was like, there's no reason why I should be in this room while
Looking at
these
what I'm
two
looking
are
at.
doing this.
Yeah.
God, how did I get here? So you worded that perfect. That's exactly how I've had the same interaction with Jim too. That's kind of funny.
Right. And the reality is, bro, is you're supposed to be here. Like, you're stepping into who you are, and that's like you were just telling me before we started recording. You did an event with Jim Lee, bro. You gotta walk into that path, and it's like that's the truth, because I have imposter syndrome a lot of times, because again, I started the swap meets, and I remember no one bought the work, but there would be a lot of times where people would tell me who I was, like, "Oh man, you're gonna put the city on, you're gonna put the city of San Diego on the map." Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean?
And you go about it and just do your thing, like, and eventually all that stuff will kind of fold into place. But it's like, yeah, it's pretty surreal when somebody would tell you something like that.
For sure, bro. And again, you're not making any money, so sometimes in the very beginning stage, you could ignore all those good things that people are saying to you.
Yeah.
And for me, that's all I had. So for the longest time, the connection between me and the people was all I had. That was my currency.
Yeah.
And so it's changed after that Jim Lee event. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but after that event, my life changed. Success, I started to actually see a success.
Oh,
mind you, me and my wife, we had sold thousands of our art prints of our favorite, music artists. And
I
stuff
still
like
have
that.
some. You gave me some. I remember when you were cleaning out the booth. I still have them.
And actually, that was me saying goodbye to that version
That
of
chapter.
myself. Yeah, so that's why I was like, bro, here, whatever you guys want, because I'm not selling it anymore. I care about the people that I was drawing. Like, I care about what they brought to me through their art, through their music.
Yeah.
And so it was like, at a certain point, I can't do this anymore, because I just want to listen to The Weeknd. I just want to listen to Mac Miller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of being a part of their world in that way, because it's so much that it almost feels like I shouldn't be here doing this. And so thousands of art prints sold, and I wanted to pivot into my true passion, which was comic books.
Yeah.
I was afraid of doing comic books because of Jim Lee. Because
Really?
his work is so good. I was like, dude,
really
I
good.
can't do this. And I was 18. I remember looking at Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane stuff on actual books, and I go, I can't draw like this. I'm not gonna do comic books.
Yeah. And then at some point you had to like realize, or I'm assuming I'm no artist, but art is subjective, right? So for like the thousands and thousands of us who might think Jim is the best, there's gonna be a flip side where somebody probably doesn't enjoy Jim as much. I mean, I don't see how that's possible.
I don't see how. Yeah.
But artists, somebody out there might say like, oh, Zander's the best. Like you might be the best for someone at some point.
And how many times people have said, maybe not better than such and such, but how many times people will say like what my work does for them when they see it, bro, I feel your energy. This is so dope. No one has your style. That however many times that's happened throughout all these years of doing this, that built that confidence. And essentially, when I created my character Z, the astronaut guy, I did one drawing of him doing the peace sign, and from that moment, I felt myself in that, and I go, okay, I'm ready for comic books. That's after 8 years of hustling, and earning the respect of the people, instead of just coming onto the scene going, okay, guys, I'm drawing, I'm gonna post this online and become an Instagram artist or a TikTok artist. I became a real life artist, and that's how you guys picked me up with the Dream Killer stuff.
Yeah, so let's start to get into that. Like where so I know I started working for JPG in about March last year, and I think you were already here at that point. Like, how and when did JPG approach you to, like, you know, start to be on, like, do some Dream Killahs cover? When did that exactly come about for you?
So it started with I got an office space damn near right next to you guys here at the Spider-Man booth. JP always would just walk around and be like, wow, every time I put something new, I'd be like, wow, that's so cool. And then at one point, he had the David Mack covers, and he goes, you know, you should like steal my books and like do your remarks with your character on them, because I had this big series with all these old comic books where I painted my character on them.
Yeah.
And they kind of looked like it could be there, like it was an original. And so he was like, you should steal my books and then put them back and do some like Banksy shit, you know? And I didn't steal the books. I bought them because I can't, you know, even though he gave me permission, I still in that way. And I did one of the David Mack books where he's holding the TV head on him. And I put my character Z in that. And David Mack had like saw it and like threw some love on there.
Oh yeah.
And that was the first time one of the professionals in the field was like, this is cool.
That guy is so nice, man.
He's a kind person, bro.
JPG, I had to walk around with him a few times at San Diego Comic-Con just to kind of help him out. When it was me and Ryan were alternating days, like on and off streaming at San Diego, but he walked me over to David Mack because he had the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
For Paris, and that guy is like one of the nicest souls. I only had a brief like interaction with him, but man, you can feel his vibe. Like he's such a very positive, like nice dude. So that's really cool. He showed you some love.
He showed some love, and I mean, I talked to him at the Jim Lee event the year prior.
Oh, the first one, yeah. He was here for that one.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And that's how I met him initially. And I just asked him advice, and he's one of the first professionals that gave me just some like simple advice. But it was like dope to have that experience where I'm asking someone who's been in comic books all this time. And Scott from Top Right, he actually had his first issue that he ever did in comic books, and it looks so much different than the style that
David's
does. Yeah,
like his first book,
his first job in like professional comics.
Oh,
and it
wow.
looked like totally like the 80s style, you know, typical comic book art.
Yeah.
And then it was just crazy because his work is so much different. Yeah, and it separates from the pack, you know what I mean? But it was cool to see that, and he was explaining how his real first job that he did, he worked at a print house, so he got to print out the comic books for his first real job, like in comics.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, I'm gonna have to ask him about that if I see him again, because that's the one part of the business I'm always curious is the printing. Like, where does that happen?
I don't know.
I've always wanted to know that myself. Like, where do they do that?
Where is that going down? And I think his first job, it was like some independent book, and they were in need of a printer, and he happened to, like, at 16, like, work at a print shop. So he got the job and facilitated the printing.
Right place, right time, man.
Exactly.
That's all it takes sometimes.
And I totally related to that because I've done that plenty of times at this point. My mom is in printing, so I used to utilize her printing business.
Oh, sweet.
For sometimes artwork that people would hire me for. So I get a little extra on top of my art price.
Nice.
But yeah, so back to the beginning of it, JP, he asked about that. And I did it, and immediately it sold. And he was like, you got to do another one. I'm like, all right, cool. So I was drawing on top of Ninja Funk comics. And then a year later, I'm drawing real comics.
Doing a cover for him.
Yes.
3 covers off the bat, too.
Exactly.
I think you're the first one that had, when we ever dropped them, because we would always do, like, Dream Killahs releases. But yours, since I've streamed from, I think yours was the only one where we ever had, like, an artist where we had multiple of their covers drop at once. I think, and you're also the first one, if I remember correctly, that had all 5 of the bears
Yeah.
on the cover first.
And that wasn't on purpose, but it was on purpose to get all the bears there. Because JP, just the day before that I came up with the idea for Circle of Life,
Mm-hmm.
he told me the acronym that they spell out Dream.
Yeah.
And he told me the order, and I was like, oh man, that'd be kind of, in my head, I'm going, that'd be kind of cool to put that, to articulate that
together.
order. And I was literally going to San Diego Comic-Con to drop off the homage cover to JP at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, you dropped that off?
I
at
dropped
San
that
Diego?
off there, and I didn't have
Whoa.
to, but I felt like that's so cool that I got
Yeah, do it
cover
at Comic-Con.
artwork.
Heck yeah.
I gotta do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? This is my
absolutely.
job. This is my place of work now.
Yeah, if you're in that industry in any way, shape, or form, that's you have to go to San Diego. It's
Exactly.
mandatory. If you're on the business end of things, artist side of things, whatever,
Exactly.
man, like that is the one, the mecca. You have to be there.
And so I felt cool about that, like walking in with my portfolio book, and I got
Yeah.
this cover that might do some damage, you know. And I was explaining the order to my uncle, and he was my ride to San Diego Comic-Con each day,
Mhm.
so I didn't have to pay for the parking. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
And
that's nice.
I was explaining, and he goes, I was like, I'm trying to figure out the order and like what to do with it. And he goes, and I told him the concept, and he goes, oh, like Circle of Life. And so he coined that.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, it has to be a circle. And so
Yeah.
that's how that came to be. But as you guys know, my uncle, he passed away just soon right after that,
Yeah.
about 2 weeks after that. And so
That is
he
crazy.
he
Sorry
said-
to hear it, but I, mean,
I appreciate
that's,
that,
That
bro.
is just that's like the full circle coming. Like,
Truly.
right there. That's probably. So I would have to assume, is that the cover you've done so far that has the most meaning to you?
they all do. Actually, what's so crazy about it is those three I technically did 4. There's one that hasn't been seen by everyone
Mhm.
yet. But I did those 3 that came out. The insane thing about it is that I did them in a certain order. So I did the Angel Bear one was the first one I came up with, and I called it Starry Night because I love Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And so that was like my homage to Van Gogh. Even though it has nothing to do with, you don't see Van Gogh necessarily.
But that's
in
just
that.
that's what inspired the piece.
Correct. And so I drew I drew that angel bear, and I wanted the wings to extend as far as possible, and I wanted it to bleed off the page. And so the reason why that one means a lot to me is because I brought the moon and the stars from the universe to comic books. That's how I articulated it. But after my uncle passed, it was like I drew him in his next life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt about it. So that was very meaningful to me.
Oh.
And that's the one that everyone was like, bro, this one's iconic. And so I was
It
like,
is,
that's a trip, you know what I mean? Because I didn't mean it to be.
Of all the, so I wasn't like the streamer part of it. I wasn't streaming that cover when it debuted because I know that one dropped the day of the Ninja Funk anniversary, the second Jim Lee event.
Right.
I that was SJ streaming those, but I think that cover, like, because I did, I was tuning in a little bit while I was running around, but I have not seen a Dream Killahs cover so far that has taken off like that. That one I think has been the most popular Dream Killahs cover so far.
That's a trip.
Like, I love that one too, dude. And that, I also like the little tidbit on the back. If you look at the back of those Dream Killahs books, the number under the Paris logo that tells you what variant number it is that one's 24. So
Yeah.
that's like the Kobe one too. So
Yeah.
I always like, I didn't know that that cover had that backstory to it. So that's really cool. And then the fact that it has the 24 on it, like, it's just like the cherry on top.
It really is the cherry on top, bro. I couldn't believe that he associated Kobe with this set.
That's big for JP too, because he's a huge Kobe fan
Me
himself.
too,
So
bro.
I was like, when I turned that one around, I was like, oh, this is the 24. This one's dope.
Yeah.
What a cover to have for number 24. And that's, I know for me, when I have streamed that book or that cover in particular, that one is like almost in a league of its own, and as far as the Dream Killahs covers go, because that one always generates hype. It's something about that cover. It's probably the energy you put into it, like everything about it has just really bled into the community that we have on Spidey Booth, and I love that cover, man.
I appreciate that, man. And actually, it is a trip because those characters are very dark in nature. Like, they represent some very deep, dark stuff.
Yeah, if you guys ever read Dream Killahs, it really does teaches you a little bit about like yourself, life,
Yes.
like a lot about. It's a pretty good read.
And so I wanted to bring some light. That's why I made the moon green. But the moon being green is also just a trademark of mine. That
Yeah, the green is like
yes,
that's you right there.
Yes,
the
it
green
is.
and the pink.
I
if I
appreciate
see
that.
those, that's like the first thing I'm gonna think of.
I appreciate
it's
that,
always
bro.
Zander.
And so the second one that came in order was the homage one,
Mm-hmm.
and I never really like I like homages, but I a lot of times I didn't necessarily understand why do we keep homaging the
Certain
covers
ones, yeah.
because I'm late to the collecting field of it. You know, what I mean, when I got toys and comic books, it was because it was just what was in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily have the understanding of what a slab was and all that other stuff until I like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so JP was like, you know, homage covers work better. And I go, well, I got a lot of like ideas that are outside of that, you know. And he goes, okay, well, just give me one at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, okay, cool. And he goes, you could choose it. And I said, what about Spider-Man first appearance, Amazing Fantasy? Like, that's like,
The villain.
yeah, because Spider-Man, you know, too, and just everything it represents. And so instead of obviously Spider-Man, it's the Me Bear,
Mm-hmm.
and he's swinging from his rope,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got the Angel Bear in his arms as like an actual stuffed teddy bear.
Yeah.
And the reason why those ones that one in that order has that meaning to me is because that felt like me flying through the
Swinging in.
universe. Yeah, because I kept them in space,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of buildings, it was crystals. As far as what the homage layout goes.
Yeah.
And I just felt that's the energy, and so I felt, and all this really came to me when I saw him on comics that day.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like, oh man, I drew my uncle in the first one, and now I'm holding him
Yeah.
while swinging through the city of crystals.
Like you're keeping him with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is me, truly, and that's why it's crazy the character's name is me.
Mm-hmm.
This is me.
Yep.
And I'm flying
Yeah.
through this thing, and I got my uncle here, and he's a part of that journey because he's the 1st person. My uncle's the first person to give me money, like invested like $1,000 for me to get prints and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago, I wasn't able to pay him back because the plan did not work. I was supposed to make $10,000 a month. I laid it out all to him. He's like, "Yeah, it sounds like a great plan," and he just believed in me. So, and then the Circle of Life one, that it kind of ends that whole series
journey.
for me because he coined the name. He's like, "Yeah, Circle of Life, that's cool."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "All right, cool." And it just everything is full circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just how it works. So they all have very deep meaning to me, and then everything from here on out is all of us. You know, I'm bringing all of us. This whole entire journey that I've been on, I can't wait to show you guys that energy because so many people have helped me get here.
Yeah.
You know, my uncle passing away, it was kind of just like Spider-Man's Uncle Ben moment.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, before he left, it was our last conversation we had. He was like, "Man, everything you're doing, it's the reason you're gonna make it. This, and the third," and it was like this really special conversation. And I just didn't see him because he, you know, was dealing with stuff, and I didn't realize. But he passed away, and then it was like, damn, bro, like he really Uncle Ben me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what a trip to have the Spider-Man homage be that.
Yeah.
And just the whole overall thing. So, you know, I've been putting my entire life story in every piece that I've been drawing. So by the time I got to those covers, I felt I was ready. Like when I did the Angel Bear with the moon, I legitimately, when I was done, I showed my wife it, and she's like the greatest artist of all time, bro. I can't wait for you guys to see her stuff on comics.
I know I've met your wife before. I don't think I've ever seen any of her
Out of this
pieces
earth.
before.
Yeah, out of this earth, bro. Well,
Really?
you might have some of her artwork if you have any of the really detailed pieces in color pencil. Some of the prints, I forget which ones you grabbed.
I have a lot of the like music or athlete ones, but they're all in color.
They're all in super color.
Yeah.
Well, she draws in color pencil in color, so it's the realistic ones.
Are her.
Are her.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that like legitimately look like that person, and like it could be a photo.
Mhm.
That's her.
I never
But
knew that.
when I asked her, like, what do you think about this? She immediately was like, I love it. Usually she goes, oh, you know, maybe could you try to do this right here.
Right
Boom.
away, nothing.
Nothing. She was like, I love it.
That was the
And
Angel Bear cover.
That was the Angel Bear cover. But when I was done with it, when I like my hand left it and I was done, I couldn't believe what was in front of me. I didn't draw this. This was the universe. I didn't do this.
That was dude. I'm telling you, that's a very popular cover.
I appreciate that.
For us. Everyone loves that one. So let's move forward ahead a little. What is next for you in your journey now that you've gotten a few covers out there into the world that are completely your own? What is because you mentioned the chapter moving on from like the vending part. Now you're in. What is next for you that you have? You don't have to like spoil anything, but like,
no worries.
What is your plan going forward? Like, what is next for Zander?
Traveling to different states to do Comic-Con
shows.
Yeah, and like the platform that you guys have opened up for me on Whatnot that's been a huge part of the change because SJ was the first person to put the camera on me for
at the event,
at the Jim Lee event, and that actually was so overwhelming because when I was dealing with all these people in person. And then when I looked over, there was a stack of comics like this about to fall over, and I'm like, I have to draw on these today. You know what I mean? And so I never had that before. And again, I was doing well in person, and then boom, I look over and she's just selling product, and I'm like, oh yeah, man,
crazy. I'm telling you, the Dream Killahs covers were always like the way we dropped them. People ate them up, but I think when yours happened that day, I saw the stack you were talking about, and it's like that one just seemed to take off a little bit more than some of the other ones I've seen. And SJ, Ryan, Eddie, and myself, we all sold the first ones at San Diego last year, and that was like the first little piece of them, And then when we moved to the HQ, I think that's when the third bear, the end bear cover dropped, and we finished those 5 bears from like the first style of covers, and then at that at the Ninja Funk anniversary, the Jim Lee event, that's when yours came. I'm telling you, I don't think I've seen one move like that one yet.
Okay, I appreciate that, man.
It's one of the, if not the best, like Dream Killahs cover that has like really taken off.
Hell yeah, man. So that I appreciate that. Thank you. So that is what changed my perspective, and also not even perspective. It just changed my life. There was no going back after that. I had just ended my tour for zander6comix tour, where myself and other comic book artists, we would fill up comic book shops here in San Diego and LA, and I had just finished doing that, and I was kind of wiped out. Within the 2 years that I had started that particular part of the tour, I did 22 shows. Not anything as to the degree of like the 250 that I did the year prior, but it was like I put them together. And so my 25th show, or my 23rd show, was Jim Lee. And
the one here.
Yeah. And so that was the end of the tour for me, but I got more busy after that. I got hired for other comic book jobs to do, covers. Nice. JP was like, after, kind of the impact of some of the covers, he's like, you need to do all the bears as the moon, with the moon and the stars, because that's your signature right there.
Oh, like the angel bear on the moon. He wants you to do one for each of the bears.
Every character, yeah. And I did actually turn them all in. So, and then he goes, we need more homages for this one. He's like, I want the artist to one artist to do the series.
All the bears.
So I was like, all right, cool. So boom, 8 covers is. I already got hired to do 8 covers, and then I got hired to do the Adventures of Starman, that Tesla comic.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, and bro, I met everybody that I'm working with. I met them all in person throughout this journey.
Elon?
No, no. So before it became, because I can't even speak on it, but there's it's gonna change. But no, Eli is the one. Eli Burton. He created the Adventures of Starman.
Did you meet him through JP? Because I think I've been around JP. I think he. I don't remember his name, but I know JP snagged a few of those Starman books at one of the shows. I want to say it was L.A. It
was L.A. Comic-Con.
Yeah.
No, so actually, JP met him before I did. I saw Eli's booth for Starman. It was at the exact booth that I had the year prior.
Oh. Okay.
And so he had a giant Starman statue exactly where my Z statue was the year before. And I was like, whoa, that's so crazy that another astronaut is right where I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I kind of
that's
felt
surreal,
connected
huh?
to
Yeah.
it. And then San Diego Comic Fest. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. Did
Mhm.
you guys went to that, right?
Yeah, I know what it
I
is.
saw JP there at least, but
The one that was right down here.
just down the way, yeah, the
Mhm.
Holiday Inn or something like
Yeah.
that. And then I met Eli because he's sponsored uh, the lanyards and the passes, so that all the artists that were exhibitors and stuff, they would have branded San Diego Comic Fest stuff. So he sponsored San Diego Comic Fest so that we could it could be more eventful.
Oh, cool.
So I met him through there, and we both had the astronaut. I wheeled mine over to his, and
Oh, so you guys vibed.
we vibed, and he goes, I'm calling across the universe to speak to Zander. I love this art, man, but you need to come back and sign it for me. He's like,
Dang.
this comic book's gonna be it for my character Z, and I was like, damn, okay, cool. And so after the Jim Lee thing, um, he just pulled the trigger on what we had already been talking about, and so he hired me to do a couple double covers. So
Whoa.
the back and the front.
So like a wraparound.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
And so I don't know exactly when that's going to come out, but there's some big stuff going to happen for the Adventures of Starman
Sweet.
moving forward. So I'm very excited about that. But that, in essence, is what got me to start traveling with you guys
To shows.
to shows. Everything's always presented in a way where I have to figure out what that means. JP's not going, hey, dude, do you want to travel with us and stream with us to do this? He's asking me, are you going? And I'm like, where is it? Oh, Florida. No, I'm not, in that space. But then he's like, okay, well, if you do go, we might drop some covers or you could stream with us. Okay, cool. So now I got to figure out how to get there. And
That's the test. I always feel
Yeah.
like he speaks in these like test terms. Sometimes
Exactly.
is like he's really telling you go, but he's like letting you figure it out on your own.
Exactly. Like just like with the covers, hey bro, you should steal my books and then do some Banksy shit on it and put it back. And I'm like, all right, well I'm gonna buy your books, and then I'll do that. And then it's like I really could have stole him, right? He was legitimate about it. I could have taken him from the shelf. But
Yeah.
I just am who I am. So
And even the big names, like I've listened to interviews with like Jim and Todd, and it was the same deal for them. The shows weren't as like big as they are now, obviously, but that's how essentially they got their starts too. Was like that was them going up to artists with their portfolios back in the day. That's how everyone. So like shows are a very vital part of the industry. Regardless, I mean, if you're a fan just attending, you want to make sure you're there because it's always a good time. But like, if you're drawing or if you're in any aspect of the business, like shows, if anything, it's good just to show face, just to have a presence there, so to get your work out, your name out. People can walk up to you, walk past wherever your booth is, and just that's an intro to a lot of people. That's because these are all fans in the industry attending these shows.
Quite literally, bro. That's so. 2023 it was my first time going to San Diego Comic Con. I got a pass from a friend named Les De Los Santos. He gave me his pass to go in for like a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I'm with my dad street side with that character he made out of paper just days before. I painted it just days before it's out on the streets. And so my dad is waiting outside for me while I'm inside about to go do whatever. I don't even know. The first person I legitimately bump into right as I walked into that door was Rob Liefeld. I bumped into him. I was like, oh man, my bad, like regular. And then
And it was Rob.
And then I'm like, hey man, I just heard about Wolverine and Deadpool. That's so dope. Like, congratulations and thank you for your contribution. He's like, oh yeah, no problem, man. And I just met him as he was about to go into the line or go into this booth that this giant line was for him.
Oh, he was on his way to.
I ran into him, bro, and the line was looking at me like, you son of a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Because they were just stacked up, and I gave him my portfolio as a flyer. And he's like, oh, cool stuff, man. And then I dipped off, and I ran into a friend who actually truly inspired me to start doing comic books. Not as a career, but just like, okay, dude, get out of your own way. His name is Tony Brown. We talked. I gave him a piece of my character, which was really just brand new to the scene. And he goes, whatever you're looking for and whatever you want, you're gonna get it because you're genuine. And like that was like really, it meant a lot to me to hear that from him because he's a genuine person himself. But then he goes, I don't know if Todd's here, but the image booth is just right there in the middle. It's right there. Just follow this row. And I'm like, all right, cool. The universe was speaking to me. I go, and lo and behold, there's Todd McFarlane. And he looks different because he's got a goatee. He's got like a little white mustache and a little goatee. I'm like, bro, this is the era he hires me in. And so I see him. I'm not going to just walk up to him because I realize, like, that would be crazy. You know what I mean?
I'll just walk up to Todd.
Yeah, like, but because there's a line full of people.
Yeah.
What I'm assuming is waiting for Todd because they're all looking at him, but they're actually just to buy product. It wasn't even a line for Todd. He was just
probably an exclusive drop or something.
Something like that. And but he was just standing in the middle, and everyone was like facing him and stuff. So I got in line. I had no money in my pocket, and long story short, 2 hours goes by. I'm past the time that I should be, but it doesn't matter. My friend's like, dude, just do what you need to do.
And your dad's outside this whole time?
My dad's outside this whole time. That's who I'm most worried about, right? Yeah, no. But actually, he was a break dancer, so he was break dancing with my character. He was just break dancing, performing. Yeah, it was a trip, bro.
Yeah, outside Comic Con at San Diego is a whole event by itself.
It's lit outside. Yeah, no, and it's hot. But so anyhow, fast forward that story. I got to know his personal assistant. Todd's. Through being in line. I had some artwork on me that I drew the day before and finished that day. And I go, hey, like, you know, I might not be able to see Todd. Just wanted to see if I could pass this on. Like, I want to work for him one day. She goes, okay, yeah. Takes the art, puts the medieval Spawn Kickstarter that hasn't even been released yet or even announced yet. I'm going, what is that? She put that on top of the art, and I felt connected, you know? And I go up to the store part of the booth, and I have no money in my pocket. I got no money in my account. I'm broke as a joke, and the joke was never funny.
Yeah.
And I literally pretend to buy something. You know, and, it didn't go through. Oh, I'm like $1 short. Let me go back in line and see if I can, you know, do something, whatever. I have no money. There's no way. There's no reason for me to go back in line.
Yeah.
But I go back in line, and boom, lo and behold, there's Abraham from Evolution Toys. He popped up right on the side of me. He's like, what's up, dude? And I was like, oh, shit, what's up, dude? He gives me money to buy a comic book for him. He's like, buy one for yourself. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go and buy it. And I noticed they weren't signed. Everything else was signed by McFarlane.
Oh.
And these weren't signed. And so I go, hey, you know, to his assistant, I go, hey, I thought this stuff was signed. Is this the only thing that isn't signed? She goes, yeah, that's the only thing that isn't signed. And I go, is there a way to get it signed? She goes, yeah, there's a signing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like I told you, I don't really got any money. I'm not even supposed to be here. She's like, for you? I got you. She gave me a pass.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? This is crazy. Like, what the hell? And so an hour later, I get in line to get signatures. But I didn't get a pass. She just said, get in line and we got you. So I didn't have, like, the wristband. And they had people on the whole outside of it. If you don't have a wristband, get out of line. and I just remember thinking, oh my God. And, dude, he popped, the guy was saying it, he popped up right here and yelled it. It was actually in my ear. And I was like, jeez, man, like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I felt like he was talking to me. But no one ever came up to me to ask. And Fate. And, bro, I met, like, as I was waiting in line this entire time, I met Spawn fans. And I was showing them my work, and they were like, dude, I can't wait to have your cover for Spawn. Like, they were saying these affirmations, the things that I've been telling myself for years. Because McFarlane, Spawn, but also Image overall, that's my holy grail.
Would that be, like, your dream
Yes.
job is to work for Todd or Image in any sort of way? Is it Spawn specifically, or just the title at Image?
Spawn, the titles, I want to have every title in Image. But I eventually want to pivot, because I have my own character. I want to change the way people experience Image comics with my character and my energy to it. So that's the end goal, really, for that, is to have Z have the Image eye on it.
Work for McFarlane?
Work with him overall, like to be alongside him as a peer instead of just, oh, that's my boss. I don't care if that's boss man for however long, but I know what I am to this thing. But I have to get there before I can really, you know, act upon that. You know, I can't walk up to Todd and go, dude, I'm the guy. You know what I mean? But so what I did when I got to Todd was I noticed he signs two things, head down, looks up, fist bump, handshake, and you're out.
He's
And I'm like,
fast.
he's fast, bro.
Yeah, he's
and
fast.
I was like, oh, that's cool. So it's a little interaction. I gave him my thing, two things to sign, and I go, hey man, my name is zander6comix. His head's down. I go, my name's Zander from zander6comix. I'm gonna work for you one day. And he just stopped signing. He looked up and he goes, oh yeah, what are you gonna do for me? And I go, I can pencil, I can ink, I can color, I can do all that digitally as well, traditional on top of that. But I'm gonna change the way comic books look like on the shelf. That's my what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you might just be the next one. And he shoots his finger right in my face, bro, like this close. He's like, you might be the next one. And I go, I am.
Damn.
And he goes, I believe you.
Damn.
He kept his finger there, bro. It was like so crazy. He just kept his finger there. He's like, I believe you.
Have you seen him since?
Yeah, so last year. So fast forward last year, or 2024. I go up to Todd, but this time around I have an action figure that this young man made me from Action Figure God. He made me a custom figure of my essentially of the statue that my dad made the year prior. So I had this action figure and I just put it down on the table while I another thing, I got a free signing for no reason, right? I just interviewed Steve Olive from Ollie Optics, who was one of the people that was doing that try signing with Stacey and McFarlane. They hadn't been together in over 30 years altogether.
Whoa.
So they did this like surprise signing for 150 units for the Virgin cover of the issue 1 and issue 2 on one paper print. And it was like history. And I'm standing next to the first photographer for San Diego Comic-Con. He was telling me how he took the first shot of those three, and now 30 years later he's about to do it again.
Yeah.
That tripped me out.
Yeah, that scared me.
Sorry.
I was like, oh, are we getting kicked?
Sorry,
And
guys.
it's all good. And so I just interviewed Steve Olive. Like we were going back and forth, bro. He sat on the ground with me. Steve Olive is an older gentleman. He sat on the ground with me and just told me his story. And this was outside of the interview that I did. We talked for an hour after this interview, and he literally tells me, yeah, I call it ZenCon. This is Steve saying this. He goes, I call it ZenCon. I should call it ZCon because you're here. And I was like, you know what I mean? And he goes, because everything that's needed to happen is happening. I just walk right into it. Just like right before I saw you. This is how I knew I'm in a movie, right? He goes, who do you think I run into? Yes, Todd McFarlane. And I go to his assistant because I'm still shy, and and his assistant goes, yeah, come over back here. They talk and they go, they literally created the idea to do a signing the next day. And so he goes, so stick around, you might be able to get in. I got in.
Whoa.
Wasn't supposed to get in. Got in. I'm in this line, I go and see Todd. I put the figure down. I had it in my pocket.
The one that
Emilio from Action Figure Guy.
Yeah.
He's over here too. I put that down right in front of Todd. I don't say anything. And he looks up and he goes, what is this? I go, hey Todd, I'm going to need you to make my toys because, the custom ones, they take too long, And he goes, what is this guy? And I go, this is Z. He's not a superhero. He's an artist, just like you and me. He's just trying to become a star, but not the one on Hollywood Boulevard, more like the real kind. And bro, like this light, like I could see that star I was talking about in his eyes. It was like this light lit up in his face.
That's how you can appeal to Todd. Books and toys?
Come on.
You're speaking
what
his
I mean?
language right there.
Exactly.
He's bilingual.
He's bilingual in toys and comics.
Yes.
That's facts, bro. And passion. Yeah, he
he
knows
is.
passion. And so when I said that to him, he literally out loud went, wow. And I was like, I just knew like something special was happening. And he goes, the energy, the colors, this is amazing. And I go, I asked you for a job last year, but this time I'm not asking for that, bro. I just want to let you know I'm going to have the image eye on this guy one day soon. And he's like, I believe you. He said it again, I believe you. And then it was a quicker interaction than the last one, but it was like, he knew who I was. He remembered who I was.
Remembered you?
Because I also had gotten a job interview from the editor of Spawn, Thomas Healy, the year prior. So like when I first met Todd, I ran into Thomas Healy, and I've been going back and forth with him on social media because of my art.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, Thomas, and he's like, oh hey, what's up, dude? As if he knew me. And I was like, hey man, I just wanted to see if you had some time. He asked me to come back the next day or 2 days after. I didn't have a pass for that. I ended up getting a pass.
You just have to find your way in, dude.
I said yes to everything, bro.
Yeah.
I said yes to
that's
everything.
all you have to do is just, even if you don't have it under your belt, that's what you do. You just say yes until you get in the caught in the situation where you get oops.
And I trust the universe in that aspect because every time I've needed something to happen that way, it does. And so, Todd was standing over Thomas while Thomas was explaining to me how they want Spawn to be drawn, because he was telling me, he's like you're too bright, too colorful. You know, Spawn is dark, he's gritty.
But Spawn has that green. That to me, that's why I would like think Todd would look at you first, because of the vibrant color of it. Like Spawn, he is that dark character, but that green, like fiery flame,
for sure,
is always one of the trademark standouts to me for Spawn. That's like one of the first colors I think of Spawn when I
same.
It's black, white, red, and then that hot green. You know, like
Same.
It's part of, that's like the light in the darkness of the Spawn.
I believe that
visually.
should be exactly the way you just described it. That's exactly the vibes of it that I had felt, and that's why I felt so confident. And Thomas, he wasn't telling me like it's not gonna work. He was just telling me like, draw Spawn the way we want him drawn. Show us that you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the caveat to that was, he goes, but just so you know, it's not always gritty. It's not always dark. He goes, take a look at this, and he shows me Spawn kills every Spawn. This is a year before they announce it.
Oh,
or
dope.
before they release it.
So you got a little sneak peek.
I got a little sneak peek of Sketch Crap, Rob Dunez, his art. He goes, look, man, this guy does exactly the opposite. He does kind of more what you do. He goes, but we hired him to do this. He did the entire book, the interiors and all that.
Yeah, I mean, you can always bring any art style to any character, I feel like. And like, I've seen Scotty do Spawn covers before.
Right.
And they're just cool. It's just another way to, it's like a way to view Spawn or anybody in like a different lens, you know, put another pair of glass or lenses on and see this character drawn this way.
Right.
And it might work for someone. That might be like the definitive version for someone, if like, you know, you ever did like a Zander Spawn or something.
Oh, for sure, it's coming. Trust me. Yeah. No, and that was the coolest part about it. Was like, it wasn't a no. He gave me like damn near 2 hours of his time. You know what I mean? It was like, hey man, you're on our map now.
Well, you know, all of them, like McFarlane included, like they would always submit to Marvel, whoever, and they all got rejected at first. So like they would get these rejection letters, you know, probably numerous times, not just once, over and over, and just like you just keep going at it, man. It's like every rejection is just like a fuels the fire more, you know. To all right, I'm breaking through the door some way.
Bro,
you guys are letting me in at some point.
Honestly, bro, that day they let my foot in the door. This is the analogy I've been using for a while. They let my foot in that door, and that was the first mistake. If they didn't want me in this
That's
game,
all you need.
you shouldn't have opened that door because my foot's there. And then once my shin got in there,
I'm in.
and my knee got in there, bro, this Jim Lee event got my quad in there. Now my whole body's here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm broke into the business.
Ooh,
That's how I
let's
feel.
talk about that, because let's tell. I can already guess, right? But I imagine anyone as a newer artist, like having your name headline on an event with like someone of legendary status with Jim Lee, like, because I think I followed, I checked you out on IG, so I did see a couple of the stories, and I know you felt very blessed, like thankful, excited to be at an event. But like, tell everyone listening right now, like how impactful was that for you, that event specifically? Because I know you went the first year with the you wanted to hand out the flyers and
yeah.
everything. How was it 1 year later? Now you're one of the artists listed on the event, like, because we all saw those Ninja Funk like promo pictures that they did, you know, and yours was one of them.
They
So
included me.
how crazy was that for you?
Out of this earth, bro. I won't lie to you. Like, well, back to like my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my dad's brother.
Yeah.
And so, when all that happened, I kind of went not in a dark space because I had to work. I had like 4 events I had to go do.
So you were full grind mode.
Full grind mode. One of the events that I did at Now or Never Comics with the X-Men cast, 2 guys from the X-Men cast that I met here. This place is magic.
Yeah, I love Ninja Man.
And I had Jubilee and Sunspot. And that day at that event, I had to go to my uncle's funeral. Like, literally the morning of.
Oh.
And so, like, everything was just this, like, super impactful, what the heck? The timing is crazy. I have to essentially show face. You know what I mean? I can't be depressed. I can't be sad.
You have to smile for the cameras.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
But the people that I had around me made those smiles real. So like by the time I got here, and the whole car ride I'm going up, you know, I got the flyer. JP told me to send him a photo, and I sent him like a screenshot of a video photo. You know what I mean? And they used it. And
It was a good photo. You looked real happy.
I think I was at that moment too, and I had like the image hat on and everything. Yeah, it was like,
stoked.
and well, they also put the Madonna song on it.
Oh, on the promo vid
on the
for
promo
IG?
video, and so like it even just had this like unreal vibe to it. And actually, Ron from Unstoppable, he goes, dude, like when I saw that, I got chills. And
Yeah,
like,
those trailers are really dope.
I go, bro, I cried when I saw it. I cried when I heard the song. Life is I was like, oh my god, bro.
Ron teared up?
I teared up. I don't know if Ron teared up. He just told me he got chills, and I was like, but
That's so
I
funny.
teared up when I saw it because I go, what is going on? This does not feel real. Imposter syndrome. It felt like, you know, and so when the entire car ride I drove when I was driving up here, I almost debated on leaving, like going. I might just turn right back around.
Go home.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. I think we all go through it.
Yeah.
But I knew my life was about to change, and I don't know if I was quite ready for it. And then when I came in here, I came super early to help you guys, and JP was like, "Don't touch anything. Don't touch a box. You're not doing any of that. You're here as an artist." I'm like, "Yeah, but I came like 2 hours early to help you guys." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You want to see the comics?" That's how he like evaded it. You know what I mean? Because I'm always down to just work. You know, that's just me.
He has that. That's a very good thing about JP is like when he gives you a job or like any task, he really wants you to hone in on that specifically. Like you being here as an artist, he really probably wanted all your energy just to be focused on the artist part, like, and not have any other distraction. I know he's described that way to streaming for me and Ryan before, is like, I just want you guys to come in and stream. Don't worry about anything else. Like, just all your energy needs to go into that. So he's very like very smart in that way. Like I think I've learned a lot from JP working for him.
For sure, bro. Yeah, same way around. Just even seeing him, I've been seeing JP run around at cons for a little minute.
Dude,
now.
he's a hustler to the max, man. That guy has a work ethic like that's crazy.
Yeah, he's an independent force that like it's the same ilk as McFarlane. It's almost not a replacement, but it's like this generation's platform he's created for artists. Like, bro, he knows what he did for me, but he doesn't really know what, you know what I mean, until I pay homage to that.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, he goes, "Do you want to see the books?" That's how he got my mind off of whatever. Yeah. And I go, "Sure." And it happened to be not these covers here, but the gold
foils,
gold foils of my books. And so when I saw the box open, I didn't see the exactly, bro. It was "Life is I heard that song in my head.
The trailer music.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw it glow. And I didn't see the book, so when I saw it was like a movie. When I saw it, I go, "Oh my god!" And it happened to be the angel with the moon bear.
Oh, that was the first one.
And it was just like, whoa, bro. And in that moment, like all the things that I went through the month prior, like I healed from that.
Yeah.
Because the artwork is very art to me. I put it all
Energy,
in there. Yeah, it's literally me.
It's like basketball, leaving it all on the floor.
Correct. And then like all the practice, you know, to the games. Like people only see the game, but like the practice matters to me. So when that happened, I couldn't look at the artwork for the 2 months of that time span. So like JP had it. I was glad that he had it, the physical work, because it was out of my studio, and so I didn't look at it. I didn't go back to it to go, "Hey man, let's check this out."
Turned it in, and
because after he passed, I couldn't look at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why did I draw this like afterlife? That's weird." You know what I mean? I was like almost like negative about it. So when I saw the comic books, they were glowing. I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be here. Like, I'm glad I didn't drive home." You know, and I healed that day.
Could you imagine if you went home that day?
Life would have been.
It would have been that would have been like the wrong move for so many reasons. I think if you would, I never knew that part of that story of that day. So thanks for sharing that part. Like that's pretty cool, and I'm so glad you did it because that was such a killer day for everyone. To this day, that was the funnest day for me ever being at work. Like,
Yeah.
any job I've had, that's been the funnest day by far.
Hell yeah, bro. No,
That was cool.
You guys made it great, man. Like honestly, all of you guys made it like the best. And so that was it, bro. Like when I saw that, and like all of your guys' smiles and energy that you guys gave to me, helping me set up, statues and stuff that my dad made out of paper, like making sure that I was as close to the main guys as possible.
Dude,
you know
wasn't
what I
that
mean?
like the coolest? Like,
Unreal, bro. Unreal. CGC was right next to me. You know what I mean? That was what split me from Scott Williams.
dang, shout out to our arch rival.
For
That was
real.
Alex.
For real, bro. And
Alex and Aaron.
Alex, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's funny because my name is Alex. You know what I mean? But everyone knows me as Zander. It's just the other half of Alexander. And so, like, you guys made it what was special about it. The success part of it, like, I didn't realize until after the event, like, oh, I did well.
Because you're caught in the moment.
Caught in the moment. And I was also afraid, bro, because it was like, this was unreal. Like, people were coming up to me and, oh, can you sign it for me right now? And like, I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Like, well, how much is it? I'm like, it's free. You know what I mean? Why would I charge? It's like, and then the real kicker was when Jim Lee came to the booth and he just came up to me with JP. JP hadn't even introduced me. He introduced me after.
Was this before he started signing, or like when
This
he was coming
before
out
he
here?
started signing. Yeah. So this was like he did his lap and then he came back around like to go. I don't know. He came up to me solely to address me, and I was like, I was shaking his hand and he's like, congratulations. And I'm like still ignoring that. I'm going, dude, I met you last year and you signed this flyer. I had the flyer on me. I go, you signed this flyer right here. I don't know where that flyer is, by the way. Since that event, I have no idea where that flyer went. It just disappeared. But it didn't matter because he signed my freaking comic book with my cover on it. Yeah, so it got replaced. But he was like congratulating me, and I was so caught up in the fact that my story of what was going on. He's like, and he goes, I know.
Oh, he remembered.
Yeah, he just was like, I know. And then JP goes, this is Zander. He's gonna be here all day. He did the covers, da 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 da. And he's just like, congratulations on everything.
Nice.
And when that happened, and Jim Lee went to his booth, people piled in over to me.
Dude, so that I not to sidetrack here, but like I remember the layout from that, and I was like, because I was running around trying to make sure, like, early in the show that day, I was running around trying to make sure, like, hey, are you guys good? Do you need anything? Whatever it was, like for the X-Men actors, for the artists that we had, Jim, John DeMayan, Scott, Alec, all of them,
Right.
like everyone. I was just saying, do you guys need anything? But I remember like looking at the layout and seeing where you were, and I was like, man, Zander's like primed right now where he is, because he's like right at that entry point, right before you went into that like little area where Jim's area was. I was like, they see Zander right before that, and I was like, man, he's got to be eating this up and loving it right now, because what a cool experience for him. Like, this must be.
I was like partially blacked out of like, because it's just, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Surreal, right?
it was very surreal, bro. And what's crazy was all of you guys in the beginning were like trying to push me to go into the box with them, like be next to Scott. He's like, oh, why aren't you in there? And I literally was like, I don't deserve to be in there yet, bro. Like, I don't deserve that spot yet. But it ended up working better, because if I was in there, I would have been, it would have been a missed opportunity to experience the way that I experienced it here. Because I truly didn't believe that I should be in the area with like Lucas and all them, Lucas Lee and all them.
You could be right, because that area, once you got in there, was more sporadic. Like, you could walk around in it more. Where you were positioned, that's where the line kind of was like at a standstill.
Yes.
You had to wait to enter that area, so that you did probably have, thinking about that you were probably smart to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't out of smartness. It was out of fear. Like, I don't want to be next to these guys. I don't deserve it. Like, Sinclair, like, literally has been doing this for 30, 40 years with Jim. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the flip side, I would say, to if that ever happens again, if that opportunity ever jumps at you again, like, just take that.
I know, I'm going to. I am going to, but
it's not every day you'll be like, hey, do you want to be up here near Jim, Alex Sinclair, and Scott Williams? But I understand, like, the fear aspect or the intimidation it can you know, when you're somebody new in the game and all these big names, like
Yeah.
two of these guys have worked on like the biggest selling comic book of all time. Like,
Literally, bro. And I just look at it like you have to earn your keep. And that was like what you guys kind of established to me was like, bro, you're here and like you deserve this. You know, JP was like, you deserve this. You did this. And I just kept on going like, no, bro, I didn't. You know what I mean? And it hit me weeks after, like, okay, I did deserve what I got in this particular moment. I think I deserve this
yeah, it's a lot of
elevation.
blood, sweat, and tears goes into the craft, man.
And so even with it, though I know I deserved it, it's like I got healthier. You know what I mean? Like I stopped smoking. I don't drink really. It was I cut that out. I cut out sodas.
Yeah.
I started working out. You know what I mean? Because it was like I've been so in the hustle mode, like you know the smoking aspect. I'm like just doing it to just
It's just a release.
yeah, like
Yeah.
and for what? You know what I mean? In my mind, I'm going for what? You've smoked all the joints. You know what I mean? That you could have. What are you doing this for still? And so I had to get focused. And then I go, that's how I'm going to deserve this next round of things. It's like if I can get myself on a track to just be what I need to be for this new version of myself, because the old me, that's out the way, bro. Like I can't do that anymore. I can't be that person because why? That was the question. It was like, why? Why do I go to my vices? Why do I go to, when I make money, I want to spend it. Why do I do that? Because I've never made enough money for it to matter. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? To save.
I think the goal for a lot of people is that like to spend. You just want to get to that part where financially where you can spend and you're not thinking about the number and you're like,
Literally,
how much do I have left? What did I just buy? Like I think that's everyone's goal.
Right.
So how we're getting there is like the journey.
And I've been doing that off my artwork for years. And so I'm full time with this. That's what a lot of people don't really realize is all these years, for about 6 years now, I've been full time artist. So I had to figure out every aspect of this thing because like I don't have a job to go get the check from, the solidified check. I don't have that anymore. My last job, I was flipping burgers at Five Guys. You know what I mean? Like that was the last job, and I remember leaving that place going, and they were going, "Oh, you always have a spot here," and I go,
I don't want it.
you know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. And it was nothing against it. I just every job that I ever worked, I worked harder than everyone next to me, and I always saw myself as to be the boss of it. I could be the boss of this thing. I could manage this. And then it was like, I don't want to manage this.
See, I had a similar situation because my job that I worked before I started working for JP was I was a FedEx delivery guy.
Oh snap!
And a short story about me and JP's first interaction is I actually used to deliver to his house.
What? Oh yeah, destiny.
So it was, and that's not even how I started working for him. Like I just I kind of ran into I came here Ninja Exchange, and I saw all these Ninja Funks here. The first time I ever delivered to him, I always remembered his house because and as a delivery driver, you start to memorize certain addresses for certain things, and that was always one of the houses. Like I didn't get it all the time, but when I did, I was like, I hate this house, man. This is like so many heavy boxes. But then one time I realized like what was going on. I heard him streaming like from the garage.
Oh snap!
And I was like, oh, they're like streaming comic books in here, and like I had to get a signature from him, and he actually gave me like 3 Ninja Funk books.
That's crazy.
And so the only like reason why I connected with him here is because I saw all these books, and it was actually in Ron's booth. I went in there and talked to Ron, and JP happened to be in there, and I didn't remember him like from it. I remembered the book. I didn't remember his face as much because I'd only met him one time like at his house, and I was like, I asked Ron, I was like, whose Ninja Funks are all these? Like somebody who made this book gave it to me, and he was like, oh, those are mine. And then like, dude, I freaked him out because I was like, do you live at this address? And he had like these wide open eyes.
Like,
he was
what?
like, what the hell? Like I don't owe you money or
Right.
something. It's just something crazy. And I was like, no, bro, sorry. It's like I used to deliver books to your house, but to shorten the story, I was the same feeling at FedEx. It was just like, why am I going in here, dude? Like I had just had my son, like, and I was just like really thinking like, there's no like end game here. I had tried to like I've done their management program. I know what the managers make, like what you have to be as a driver if you want to like cap out essentially.
Right.
I was like, why do I want to work, 15, 20 years to make this? Like that sounds like a waste of time to me. And I had to
Right.
really like I think becoming a father like really put it into perspective. I was like, man, I have to really start like thinking not for myself but like for others too. And so I kind of like talked to JP. I think it was two streamers he had were leaving, and so I was kind of like right place at the right time, like I just kind of happened to be here when he needed more streamers, and that's how I kind of fell into place here. Is just he talked to me what the job entailed,
Right.
and I always loved comic books. It was like a hobby. I used to collect comic books like throughout different parts of my life growing up, and I was like, oh man, comic books are dope.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I have to really think about like, can I leave this? And then eventually I just, what are you doing? You're working here for no reason at FedEx. Just try this out, man, and see what happens.
Take the
like,
chance, bro.
and I do. It's been the funnest experience. Like we have such a cool staff that works here, and it's like the job itself is just like all my coworkers are comic book characters.
Right,
So,
bro.
it's been so fun, and now we're starting to Ryan and myself are really starting to kind of. We've done 2 shows as streamers. Like at San Diego was the first big one, and then we did like a little pop up at LA. You saw
Yeah.
us there.
Yeah.
But
I saw you guys hustling, bro.
we want to like really do that ourselves, kind of like as you as an artist. We want to start hitting shows ourselves to not only show face, but we love those type of shows and the energy they bring, and it's just such a fun way to work, man. When you're just having a good time and working, that's when you're always like, this is the right way.
That's super dope to know that like that's what it was, because I met you during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I remember you were doing it for Ron as like a guest.
My first ever
Yeah.
streams I ever did, were for
Yeah.
Unstoppable Toys.
And that's how I
think
met you
2
while
or
you were
3,
streaming.
yeah.
While you were streaming, and so it's so cool because I guess the moral of the story is like when I say like I worked at Five Guys, I don't want the person that works at Five Guys to feel like, oh, that's like not a good job.
No, but it's important to mention because a lot of people that work in those type of jobs might have that feeling,
and they do.
and it, like they probably need to know it's like it's okay to like think about leaving. Like if you get years in, it's okay if you want to like think about. I don't. To me, it's never too late to if you're especially. It's more so if you're unhappy.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Is everywhere I was that I worked at, I found that I was not happy with it because I'm
Yeah.
going home, and I'm spending 8 hours in the drawing studio with visions of where I want to take it. And I like again, I was always doing the swap meet, but I was so irregular there because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And to make my business be there every weekend. And so I was unhappy with everything that I was doing because it was always about my coworkers don't work as hard as me. And they on their phones and just wasting time, and every conversation that they have for people my age, it was just like what do you guys want to do in 2 years? Do you even see that? Do you see 5 years from now? And they're not thinking about it as far as those people that I was around. And I could never make friends there. And I have one best friend. He lives out of state now. And so I always had that. Like where
that outside loner vibe.
yeah, but my
You
wife,
just didn't fit in with them.
who ended up being my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she was my best friend.
Mhm.
So it was like I don't have to go anywhere, do anything. I don't have to feel like I gotta go hang out with you guys over here. You know what I mean? Like I never had that where I felt so alone. It was like I always had a great
Like
person
that
to be
after
with.
work, let's go hang out.
Yeah, like I
True.
never had that, but I had that with my wife. It was like, well, we could just watch our favorite shows if need be.
Yeah.
Or she'd let me, because she wouldn't get in the way of studio time. She just understood that's what it is because she's an artist.
Mhm.
So she just understood what that was. She hired me at Michael's Arts and Crafts when I was like 18. She was my boss. She was a year older than me. I thought that was cool. I was like, how are you the boss? You know what I mean? And how are you this amazing artist? And I pushed her to do her art to sell it because like, how are you doing this? But
She was just doing it more as like a hobby, like a,
almost, bro, because of how we were growing up to see our talents as that's not really anything that can maneuver in this world. Like, bro, I remember I tried to look up how to get a job at Marvel. I had to go to like the Art Institute to possibly be able to submit my art, because I had to have a degree. And I'm like,
Really?
that as far as what the internet shows.
Oh.
The reality is, no, bro, I could have gone to Comic Cons.
Yeah, I always figured that's where you meet those guys, like the editors, the talent recruiting guys. Like all you have to do in my head is like, well, now it's probably I see you could probably tell me if this is true or not, but I always figured as an artist, how do you break in the digital age we're in now is like, if it were me, I'd think you probably need like an IG or something like that, social media, so you can reference a body of work. But then you also want to go into these shows where these big name
Right.
talents go and have like a physical portfolio to be like, this is me, this is what I can do.
Correct. Well, and there's a answer that I'm not a professional in to answer it, but I would say this. I was outside of social media mentally, socially as well.
Yeah,
but
I don't use it myself.
But I had one. I had an Instagram. People always do. You have to have an Instagram to. This is during when it was only Instagram, right? You had to have an Instagram to get your stuff out there and make it work. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But I always like the fact that I'm at the SWAT meet, talking to people face to face, building that part, those repetitions,
the in-person interactions.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I was outside of social media. But then I started to really, like about 4 years ago, really started to pick up content creation. But I never understood why people call themselves content creators, because they aren't. And I don't mean that to diss. It's that most people are recording themselves. That does not mean you're making content. My drawing is content. This is actual content. Me filming it is me filming content. That's how I always articulated it. That doesn't mean that it isn't actually content creation, this, and the third, because I have no quarrels with people on social media. But my thing is that I had to go through 8 years to talk to people. I've told you a little bit about some of the stories, you know what I mean? Some of the emotional stories.
Yeah.
Those live in me way more than anyone buying a bunch of art of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's synonymous. Someone that bought artwork, I have an emotional story with them. But the reality was I had to go through that 8 years of talking to people, failing, having some successes, and mainly failing. To then
you have to
talk to McFarlane like as if I'm going to work for you. I couldn't have that at 18 years old. I wouldn't be able to walk to McFarlane and go, I'm going to work for you. You know what I mean? I had to do enough to go and say that with so much confidence and energy that he believed it. Okay, yeah, I believe you. I'll see you around. You know what I mean? Like, I had to do that in physical time and reality because otherwise, social media never got me where I needed to go.
Would you recommend it to anyone who's like, because you're starting to come up in the game a little.
For sure.
Would you for anyone that might be listening that's like maybe an aspiring artist themselves, what would you recommend to someone?
Do it all
in this day and age.
Yeah, do it all. I'm not on TikTok, but like the TikToks of this world, because there's gonna be a future thing, right?
Is TikTok still here?
I think so. I think so. I'm not sure.
Down, or I thought they
got banned and then they like pop back up or something. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought they got like.
But essentially, the TikTok of whatever it is that you're gonna be walking into. Again, when I came around, it was Instagram. It used to be Facebook, then it was MySpace before that.
Yeah.
I came around during Instagram. So, yeah, no, get a social media and videotape and take pictures of every aspect of what you do, not just the drawing part. You don't have to have progression photos of you drawing, because most people when they're drawing, they don't want to record.
Yeah.
They want to be in the flow. I let that be sacred for me. I personally let that process be sacred unless I go live.
Is that something you would ever consider, like you've done live?
Oh, for sure, all the time.
Yeah.
I don't mind drawing in front of people, live in front of people, or on social media, but I just don't record the whole process because to me that's not for me. What I do, and if you guys are familiar with any of it, I document what I'm doing in real life. So people can actually, if they go on my page, they go from the very beginning, they can see the swap meet days, and then they could go right back up and they could see the Comic-Con days. And that's what I did. I documented the journey, not the art. The art is always a part of the journey. You're going to see the art sprinkled in everything. But I would say like a lot of times my peers that are my age or a little older or a little younger, they'll go on my page and they go, oh, but where's your art? And it's like, if you are paying attention, it's right there. But what they mean by it is, why isn't your whole page
Art.
an art portfolio the way that it's common to be? And I go, because if you go on these posts, if you care, you'll go on a post and boom, you'll see me shaking hands with Jim Lee and him telling me some advice about, after you get the work, this is what you got to do. That to me is way more important than seeing a drawing of mine. Seeing me with that drawing,
Mm-hmm.
having that experience with Jim and him signing this, that's the key to me.
Is that one of your favorite moments as an artist? Is having somebody of that stature like sign one of your pieces of work?
Yeah, because in my opinion, it's like, why'd you sign it? You know, like, it's not your work, and you just did it for me. You know, and so yeah, no, it definitely is that for me. Sinclair did the same. I didn't get to talk to Scott because every time I saw him, he was busy with other people and stuff, and I don't like to insert myself. I let it flow. But no, this is like my holy grail of comic books because
Nice.
it's my art, and then it's full circle. Jim signed a flyer, you know what I mean, the year before. But yeah, no, the advice is do the craft that you love so much, whether it's art, toys, anything
Yeah.
that you do that so much in the dark, because when it's time for your light to shine, just like that Jim Lee event, that was my time for all I had worked in the dark all those years, and boom, this is the moment that I can show the light that I've had this entire time, and I'm ready for it.
Nice. Well, that event was in November. The next event they're going to be able to catch you at is going to be MegaCon, right?
Yes.
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 What do you have planned? Can you tell us anything what you have in store for MegaCon? Is it under wraps? Is there anything you're looking forward to at Meg? Like, tell us a little bit about MegaCon for you. Like, what's it going to mean to you personally? This is going to be like your first show after that event, right? You haven't done any other shows since then?
Have I done any shows? No, I guess I haven't. Well, I've done like some smaller stuff for different businesses.
Yeah, because this is, I think, the first
This is the first
major
con.
con
Yeah.
for the year. I think, I don't know, there was one towards the end of the year that kind of ended the con season.
Yeah.
And MegaCon is kicking it off.
Yeah,
like,
it
for
was
the first major con.
It was LA Con, Jim Lee, and then now it will be MegaCon for me. So, and then like again, a bunch of shows in between that aren't Comic-Con related.
Yeah.
But MegaCon is gonna be my first out-of-state Comic-Con.
Really?
Yeah.
So all the other ones you were talking about that you did before were all California?
all California.
Wow.
And this is gonna be the first time where I don't have a booth for the Comic-Con. I'll be there. You know, like just like San Diego Comic-Con, I didn't have a booth. I just walked around and let
You
magic
don't need
happen.
one. So you don't need one, bro.
Yeah.
You don't need a booth.
That's,
Like,
that's also
you
the advice.
Your presence will be there.
Quite literally. And so that's the advice, is that to the kids, people that are coming up, don't think that you have to have a booth in Artist Alley or spend $1,300 on a 10x10. Like, if you can get a ticket to San Diego Comic-Con and you can bring your artwork with you, like, dude, you're 1,000 steps ahead. I'll say it like this: a young man named Kevin Tran, 22, 23. I've watched that dude hustle because he came to a lot of my events that I put together.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him hustle.
He's an artist.
Amazing artist, bro. You'll see him like he's the next one. You know what I mean? And I watched him draw every time behind this table for people, that asked for, like, can you draw Batman Beyond for me? Colored it within like an hour. It's like a beautiful piece that you can only get for $3,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was like $200 or like $100 on like a sketch cover. So I actually recorded a lot of him doing that, and I've showed it throughout this time. And so it's like I'm giving people the raw way of how to go do this thing.
Yeah.
He comes to the conventions. If he's not working it, he's going there to walk around. He's such a fan of this stuff that he's like a kid when he's there.
Yeah.
But
Me
he
too.
stumbles into the right people, just like I stumble into the right people.
I love stumbling.
Bro, it's the
My
best.
favorite thing.
Serendipitous stumbling.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh,
Nice.
man, a legend right here.
Yep.
Talk to me for 2 hours. Okay, great.
It's the best way to fall into something. Stumble.
Quite literally. So MegaCon for me is gonna be an extension of what we've been doing for Whatnot.
Is there any expectations you have for it? Like, are you kind of going in blind essentially, or are you going like Are you going there with any purpose? Like, is there anyone you hope to meet? Or, like, whether it's fans, whether it's creators, whether it's... What is it you hope to, like, either accomplish or, just, like, what do you hope to take out of MegaCon?
Well, on the work side, I hope to show my value to you guys. You know what I'm saying? That there's a reason I could come to these across the state.
Dude, it's gonna be a good time. Like, if you're hanging out with me and Ryan, like, it's gonna be a. We always have a good vibe. To me, those are my favorite streams. Is when Ryan and I are together
Yeah.
on streams. Then I think it's like the superpowers of combined. But so if
I've yet to stream with you for the remarks, but I did pop up that one day. That's what
Yeah.
started it all.
that was the only day I think. Yeah, you had made a little pop up appearance, but
I was
you didn't
just
have
picking
the
up
table.
comics. I was just picking up comics to sell at some events, and I stayed there for like an hour and a half signing books with
And we
you.
were going crazy with the Angel Bear cover
Yes.
specifically. I remember
Yes.
like that. I think we had them, and then I think I remember running some that day. I got a little bite here or there, but then like when you popped up, it was like, oh, Zander's there. Like, let me get because I think that was fairly soon after the gym event. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it was like
long.
a couple weeks. It was a couple weeks.
Yeah,
after.
it wasn't too long after, and then
Yeah.
that pop up, man. I'm telling you, bro, that Angel Bear cover is like
Thanks, man.
it's got some real traction.
I know. I heard someone resold it for $80 with some signatures on it. I'm like,
What?
what the hell?
Dang.
Okay, where's my cut? No, I was joking, but no, I hope to on the work side show up for you guys and show that there's I'm gonna bring value. That obviously JP always is like, bro, you bring so much value, you have no idea. But I'm like, okay, but I want to show you that it's worth to have me come to the states, different states with you guys. I'm going by myself, really. Different planes, different hotels, all that good jazz. Outside of that, because I'm gonna work really hard, so I might just be streaming all as long as possible.
The whole show.
Yeah, I did 14 hours with SJ and Ryan one
Yeah.
day. I got home at like 7 in the morning.
Oh, you were there for the overlap. Yeah.
I was there from like 3 to 7 in the morning.
Dang, yeah, that's what it's about.
And Ryan's
bro.
like, you went the distance. I'm like, bro, this is compared to what I've had to do. This is so much easier as far as my energy goes.
Dude, Ryan saying go the distance, like that's one of the quotes that will always. I know everyone knows his quotes, just like New Buyer Line, your soul's mine. Like his quote to me is always go the distance, because
Yeah.
he's the one who I had to shadow and I trained, like who taught me to stream. And then the first time I ever had like my first solo stream, I remember he walked in and he looked at me. He was like, "You ready to go the distance?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." I think it was like 10 or 11 hours or something.
Yeah.
And that's just what I had to do. But that's like that. I'll always take away that moment. It's like just his look on his face, the way he said it, and I still remember it vividly to this day. It's like, "You ready to go the distance?"
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Let's go. Saddle up.
Yeah, no, for real, bro. And that's what he said to me. He's like, "Damn, Xander, you went the distance." And I was like, every time, anytime we need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's actually the one out of all of everyone on the team. He was probably the one I remember before I really got the green light to start shadowing and streaming a little bit. We were in I think this was like one of the very like random times, one of the rare times where we ever dollar started anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody had called out that day. I think it was one of the streamers that left. Might have been SJ's sister. Somebody like wasn't able to stream that day, and like I hadn't started streaming yet. And JP, I remember telling Ryan like, "I need you to go like long today," and he's just 5 days straight, man. I saw this guy do like 12 hours a day or something. I was just like, man, this guy grinds, dude. I liked that.
No, and that's
that
actually my
feel.
first experience with Ryan too. Was 2023. He was before he came over. I believe before he came over to that Spider-Man booth, he was working different
Yeah, he
different
worked at
booths.
a couple. Yeah.
And I remember, bro, like I asked him like
Vending,
3
like,
times
TCGs,
at
yeah.
3 different places if I could put flyers here. By the 3rd time, I'm like, yeah, I know I could put flyers here. You know what I mean? Because he was in 3 different places at the same time in the same day, and I was like, damn, bro, like that's how I even knew Ryan as far as facial recognition. And then as time progressed, it was like, well, he was one of the first people when I got here that he's like supported me. He was like, bro, like put your character on the cover. He's like, he was the first person from Ninja to be like, dude, the cover that's sick.
He's the one who gave me your. I got Z on the Gym League cover,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Like,
And-
that's
and-
one of my favorite pieces.
That is I would say a prime example of the support that he's shown. That would be the full circle moment with that is that he gifted that to you, because I was afraid to draw in the Jim Lee book.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, bro, especially too to mimic the style.
And he's with Batman on it, which is like,
Super dope.
Yeah,
He's just
super
right behind
sick.
Batman. Ready
You can't
to go.
get a Jim Lee Spider-Man, really. There's maybe like 2 that exist, but yeah.
Oh, for real, yeah.
You have the dude and he knows like Hush is like my favorite. Like of all the books I have, like that. If I really focus on like I gotta get every issue of a run, Hush is the run. So when he showed me that, I was like, whoa, that's cool. That was like one of the dopest like gifts I've probably ever received. You know,
Hell
it's
yeah,
really
bro.
cool, man. I love that thing.
Hell yeah. No. When he told me it was a gift for you, I was like, all right, I gotta make sure this thing is perfect. Yeah. and okay, so
Came out really perfect.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Fuck. It's so funny because, like I said, Jim Lee is one of those ones that's just intimidating because it's like, dude, I can't draw like that.
Yeah.
Bro.
To me, that's my goat of artists. I've always like loved his stuff, man. If I'm a fan of one artist, like it's him.
He's the standard for sure, bro.
And then like him and Todd, I think just the stuff they've done, you know, like they were like the rock stars of the whole image movement, all that thing. Those guys are pioneers, man. They're crazy artists.
And they're like both really dope too. You know what I mean? Like Todd is like when you meet him, it's like, how the hell are you still this kind and like humble about shit? But like, you know, like people always say Todd is like cocky, and it's like so beyond me because every time I meet him, I don't get that. And even when I see like interviews where they go, oh, that's, you know, people like my friends, but oh, that's so cocky of him. I'm like, bro, like that's who he is. You know, that's not cockiness. That's just true to him. You know what I mean?
I've watched a lot of interviews with Todd, and Todd, dude, just I like hearing that guy talk, man. I could sit like a little kid in class, just like, dude, I just talk about anything. I don't.
Please.
He's got such a character. Like he's such a character, dude. Just tell me anything. Like, I'll listen with full attention.
Bro, we're the same like that. Where Jim and Todd is like right there up there, but not just because the art, but what they did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so back to the MegaCon thing. I've just found out that's like the 3rd biggest con or something.
Yeah,
in this.
I wasn't fully aware of it at some point. I think JPG was the one who told me, like, yeah, this is probably like the 3rd biggest. You have San Diego, New York, and then MegaCon's like right there.
I know. I was like,
whoa, really?
okay. And because I already booked my plane and my hotel and stuff, and like that to me was the biggest step for me. Was like having the money,
Getting the book, everything booked.
having the money to book it, and just be like, all right, bro, like
Let's go.
let's make it happen.
No turning back now. We're
So
going.
if I'm able to attend, you know, because I wasn't able to get a ticket, I'm there to work. So
Don't worry, you'll get it.
I know that's what everyone's saying, but I like again,
You'll
I
get
don't
it.
expect it, and I don't.
You're getting it.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Just
Thank
talk
you.
like you're getting it.
exactly. Well, you know, the best part is I'm going there to work, and I'm excited to see what comes from it, and so the excitement, the energy, all that. But if I'm going in, instead of having a big ass portfolio full of art, which I don't like to do in general, I'm having a portfolio of covers, comic covers. That's my portfolio. You can open up. There's however many covers are in there, and this is what I want to do. And I'm gonna go shop around. But just like San Diego Comic-Con, I'm just gonna walk around and enjoy. And I know I'm gonna run into people like Mark Silvestri. I met him in San Diego Comic-Con last year.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him at LA Comic-Con. He remembered me. We casually throughout the time we just had conversations, and he gave more advice and different aspects. I gave him a remark cover with my character on a Darkness issue 2. And he was like, "What? This is sick, man!" Like, couldn't believe that I was drawing my character on
his
comic
cover.
books. Yeah, like it was just cool. So I'm gonna go and have those experiences with people that I've met before, run into the right people, and again, like it's different this time around. When at San Diego Comic-Con, I had my iPhone and my wallet. That was all I had on me.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'll have my artwork on covers. That's the
Progressional journey.
yeah, and that's the caveat to like what JP has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's given me a platform with enough material that I could utilize now, because I used to do it with nothing. I used to, you have to believe that I started at the swap meets before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean anything to most people, because so. But now I have a comic book with my artwork on it, and people are like, "Dude, that's iconic." And I'm like, "Okay, you know what I mean? I guess if that's what you guys are saying, but let me see if I show this to the professionals, what they think, and I want to get hired to do more covers. That's essentially the goal.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Would you
want
ever be down to do internals?
Oh, please. You know what I mean? But I also think I have to be ready for it. I
Mhm.
think that's why it hasn't come yet. You know what I mean? It's like, because you got to be like really. And that's also, again,
That's meeting deadlines. That's meeting like expectations. All kinds of things come with that. But that'd be really dope.
that's why I'm getting more focused with my life in general. Like I explained, I'm trying to live a cleaner life
Mm-hmm.
because when that job comes,
You want to be ready.
I want to be ready. Like when this happened, bro, when JP told it to me, I took too long. Not on his accord. Like I could have taken as long as I wanted, but like I took too long to be inspired. And I was like, I'm waiting for the inspiration. I'm waiting for it. And then it was just like after a certain point, it's not gonna come, and you just wasted 5 days
Yeah.
waiting for inspiration. And so like, I did those covers within like a week and a half.
All three of them?
Yeah, all four of them really.
Although including
Yeah.
the one we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. There's another homage there, Spawn homage, and can't wait for you guys to see that. But
Yeah.
I did those in a week and a half because I finally gave myself like, dude, you have a deadline and it's tomorrow. You know what I mean? But a week and a half later, and then like with the moving forward, it's like I can't do that anymore. I can't be. I would just say lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a lazy person, but I will call it laziness.
You're saying more of like the way you were doing it before. It's almost like a cover-up excuse of why you're procrastinating.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now,
Yeah.
now your mindset is more like, let's go.
Let's just go, dude. Because again, Jim Lee, his advice to me when I first met him was, get the work and get really good at it and just keep going. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about people stealing your ideas. None of that matters in the end.
Yeah, it's almost. I've heard Jim like on an interview say like similar question he was asked like aspiring artist question. Like I think the only thing I remember him saying was just like draw, and then when you feel like you're too tired, draw some more.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, it's the same thing to like Michael Jordan on The Last Dance. Like all the shoe deals, he's like none of this like kind of came about. Like my game did all the talking,
Yeah.
and then like this all just kind of fell into place.
Exactly.
And that's I think you can really apply those to like anything, just whatever your craft is. If it's like drawing, if it's working at Five Guys or FedEx or whatever, to just grind. If it's whatever you enjoy, like just do it.
That's why I
Right.
really appreciated like with what we were talking about before with the 24 and the Kobe homages in general is because like I'll tell people this, like basketball, the GOATs is Michael Jordan, and now they're debating whether it's LeBron James, right?
Ooh.
But Kobe always gets
Skipped over.
skipped over.
Yeah.
But you know why?
Because it's the same position as Michael, really. They compare him to Michael a lot.
They compare him to Michael, but
version
also
1B.
Kobe,
His-
Kobe cared about the entirety of the game. Jordan was a player amongst his own self, and he was greatness, right? Magic Johnson, greatness before the Jordan came. Larry Bird, same thing. Magic, what's his name? Dr. J. These were all standalone cats that changed the way that people viewed the game. Kobe cared about the game overall. He created a mentality. Jordan never created a mentality for us to consume. The Mamba mentality, now people beyond basketball can understand.
Yeah, that's almost become like a philosophy.
It is.
Yeah.
And so that's why Kobe gets skipped out, because his greatness is like Todd McFarlane's greatness, where they changed the landscape of the game. Jordan changed how we play it, how we play as players. Kobe changed the way that we look at it.
Have you ever heard Todd's? Like, Todd is so maniacal in his craft, like, about everything. I've heard, like, one thing. I'll share this with you because I love Todd McFarlane. He's my one I haven't met. At
Oh,
all
for
yet.
real?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
the
soon,
one.
this
Like,
year.
he's my last, like, probably big one on my list that I want to get
Hell
something
yeah.
signed by. But he's so maniacal in everything. I've heard him down to like he's even interviewed like how he doesn't even go to the bathroom like during cons. Like his secret to that is like he doesn't eat or drink. So he says like if you don't put anything in, nothing will come out.
Yeah.
And he's landed deals because of that. Like people will come and like try and all right, Todd, we need this to be the deal. And he said I'll stall him out because like I won't have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And the pressure on he's like, and then I'll offer them drinks of water, you know, like, and then he's like, I'll just watch them like break down after however long it takes to get the deal done. They'll finally close the deal to something he's down for, and then right after they'll ask like, "Where's your nearest bathroom?" And dude, his approach to everything, his grind and worth. That guy, I would have to imagine nobody really matches him in that area.
They really can't, bro, and that's why I say like Kobe and McFarlane to me, it's like
Yeah.
the same thing. So that's why it was such a trip that Kobe's energy was attached to this first release.
I know, I didn't even realize it at first, but I love that 24 is on there. I was always like, I saw 8, and then I remember when I saw the 8, I was like, who's gonna get 24? I wonder, because that's like for JPG, that's like a big number too. Like
Right.
8 and 24, and they're always like the first numbers that sell out, because you know all those are all the ratios on those books have something to do
Yes.
with Kobe.
Yes.
Even the foil pattern and everything with them, it's 8 and 24s always usually sell on the like number ratios. You know, like number 8, one of the first ones to go. 24 right behind it.
Got you. No, yeah, when he was explaining it to me, so I had put a Kobe dedication into like one of the comic books that I created years ago, right after he passed away, and it was a Russ book, the music artist Russ. I did the What They Want music video as a comic book, but before that I had put a Kobe dedication on there, and the line was from a Russ song and says is it taking my last shots, almost 81, and when I look back into that book, I go, that's crazy that I drew that piece, because I drew it the day he passed away, because I couldn't wrap up my head around that, like, not only that was he gone, but like his daughter, you know what I mean? And that was sad, bro. Like that was probably the saddest part, because just why, you know? And energy exists forever. And so like the 8 on his jersey is not an 8 to me. When I look at it, it's an infinity.
Yeah. Just turn
And
it sideways.
Exactly. It's infinity. And that's how I look at it, like just like 24 times it. It's infinity again. You know what I mean?
Realize his 2 jersey numbers added up as Magic Johnson's jersey number 2?
Right. And bro, look, all those positions, 23, 32, 33, 24, 8, somehow they all are connected with each other, right? And the number 6 has always been a part of my life.
Number 6?
Yeah, that's why it's zander6comix. It's a play off of zander6comix, like sick. Those are dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's my number. My true number is 7 for my for like the astrological thing. But 6 has always been the ones that appear in my life, 3, 6, and 9. And so no matter what, those numbers will always be surrounded by me. So like when this happened, it was like, that's crazy, because times it's 8, but if you add them, it's 6. And so somehow, in some weird delusional way of thinking, for me, it's like connected, and I stay with that. Like I had Kobe energy on my debut, you know what I mean? And not only that,
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
I debuted with Jim Lee. Like why? You know, like why? Legends. And bro, I look up to these cats, these particular cats. Jim Lee deterred me from doing comics until I felt like my style should earn a space to do comic books. Otherwise, I'm pretending.
Did he mention anything to you about your work on the covers you showed him?
No.
Did you ask him at all, like, hey, this is my work, or?
No, I did it. I just said,
would you sign this for me?
Yeah, no, what it was I tried to explain to him again. Like, you signed my flyer? I said it like 4 times that day. You know what I mean? Like, because again, I'm like in that mode where it's like I'm like a kid again.
Yeah.
And no, you know what's crazy is I don't ask these guys to review my work, because I don't. That's not how I move. If I felt like I needed somebody to tell me how my work is, then I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is I just ask advice. Like, hey, bro, what's something that you would do? And I would have like a particular question.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, huh, let me think about that. And then they tell me something. Because the mode of where I've been drawing my whole life, I'm cool with how I draw. And I'm cool with my process of that.
Yeah.
What I really want to know is how do I get to the next level?
How to take it a step further.
Yeah, because my wife, one of the greatest artists to ever exist, that's not just that. Because if it was just that, she would have been selling artwork before she met me. There's a step that has to be taken that she ended up taking to get yourself out there. And so I took that step. That was the swap meet for me. I took that step.
Is there any steps in your art specifically, like technical wise, like that's been told to you that you've applied and elevated the level? Like, what are some of the things that you've been either you've been told or have you made adjustments to yourself as like the technical part of the art? Like, I've learned shading on this way, or like my lines this way. Like, what's been something that you've really learned that's stuck with you and you keep it today?
Well, something that took my art to the next level, it was right after I talked to Thomas Healy, the editor of Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to go see Jason Sean Alexander.
Oh yeah, we have some books from him at HQ.
Legendary, right? Horror. And I don't draw that way.
I think he works for Image, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does. He's got Blackula and Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia
So-
is some of the books we have at HQ.
Correct. So that's Jason Sean Alexander. And there was one thing that I saw him do on YouTube. After I met him in person. He was so bro. He gave me some issues of Blackula all in Philadelphia.
It's funny you mentioned that name because one of the more recent interviews I watched with Todd, I think, was at his main headquarters, and he name dropped him. He's like, "Oh yeah, this guy."
Yeah, so Jason directly changed my style. So like, I'll give an example. I see all like the black dots on the moon and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like all like the little
Yeah,
sprinkle stuff.
Yep.
I saw Jason flicking a toothbrush with ink.
Yeah.
He dipped it in ink and
For
then he
splatter.
would just do it on all these different spots. And that made me go, oh, that's where his like the darkness comes from. That's what I'm missing. I don't have that raw, like everything to me is that I do is very cartoon, very put together. It can look like a graphic.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks digital sometimes. With this, I mean, bro, my first cover has got it on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
So you kept it.
yeah. So that's actually one thing outside of being a student of the game my whole life that I could go, dude, that changed my life.
That's dope.
It made my stuff more dynamic and powerful. That one little thing. But as far as what changed my perspective in realizing, it's always been Jack Kirby.
Oh,
Jack Kirby,
ego.
he
That's who Jim like kind of looked up to. All
what
those guys
they all did,
looked up
bro.
to Jack.
Jack created
Everything.
Yeah, he created everything, bro. And what I had realized what Jack really was, he was the universe. He gave us the stars. He gave us planets, bro. Like no one else was drawing the universe.
Like the cosmic part of it.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
If
He
you ever
gave
see
you the down to earth, but he went into the
It was-
stars cosmic wise.
it was always out here so that when he needed to make a Captain America, it was always out here so that when he needs to make something down here, it's like almost easy. Like I created these galactic characters in my own free time. Now I can put that into Galactus. Now I can make Iron Man. You know what I mean? It's like there was no reason why he gave us the planets and like stars and everything else as much as he did. And I realized that the day before San Diego Comic-Con, I realized that 2023. I realized that as I was looking at the moon and the stars, and I was talking to the moon, what I would want to say to Todd. And I go, it's so crazy that like I'm talking to the moon to talk to Todd in this virtual reality in my head.
Yeah.
But in that same moment, I go, yo, it's like I'm talking to Jack Kirby, in a way. And that realization, it changed my perspective. I mean, bro, like people will understand what it was that I'm a part of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I brought the moon and the stars to it, but I didn't invent anything. You know, I got to gift this original scan of a print to Jack Kirby's granddaughter
Really?
at San Diego Comic Con.
Oh, dope.
Like,
I didn't know that.
I literally signed it. I signed her name, and I said AKA a star, and I just drew a star. And she goes, "Look at my signature." She showed me her signature. That star. Like I literally said AKA her signature. I didn't even know. And I felt so like honored to be giving this to Jack Kirby's great granddaughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was such a trip to me. And then his granddaughter is the mother of the person that I literally gifted this to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's how I know I'm in the right space that I need.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my art. There's some technical things that kind of I've learned on the way,
Mm-hmm.
but it was always kind of natural to me to just get images on a paper and put it there. I don't notice it until after.
Now, what to you is the next level for you in terms maybe either in technical terms of art or like just the next progression in your journey? What is like the next level for you?
The next level for me in my journey,
I know you said the end game would be like, or the dream would be like image,
for sure.
doing something. What is like the next step you think that will either like progress your art further or push Zander into like the next big chapter?
Becoming more of the impact through the culture that I love so dearly, like with toys and comics. Like I created an event through that tour that I was explaining earlier.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of artists in positions that change their life that I'm not aware of until they tell me.
That's
They're
dope.
like, dude, you're the reason that this happened for me and this happened for me. I'm like, oh, that's dope, you know. But I've slowly started to realize like I'm becoming comic books, and not just becoming one of the greatest artists in comic books. Like I'm becoming comic books.
Yeah.
Tom McFarlane
Like a gateway.
became comic books. He became toys. That's why he's still here doing what he does. Without a McFarlane, there is no reason to go to a Comic-Con. Like there shouldn't be a reason why comics still can thrive, because everyone 4 or 5 years ago was saying comic books is dead.
Yeah.
We're about to watch that thing go shoo, like it's the 90s again.
Yeah, it is really exciting to see. Like, I know for me on the stream side too. Like some of my favorite interactions are like when people come in and they tell me they're new to a hobby, or when like they'll even say it's like, oh, sorry for asking something, I'm new, and I'm like, oh, never be sorry for that.
Right.
I love to see new people come in and really get excited about it,
Right.
because it's such a fun way to like so much art is like expressionism and all this. It's such a fun hobby to be in. Like, there's so many cool outlets, you know, like you have your big ones, your Marvels, your DCs, but then as you start to dig a little deeper, you know, you find your indies or just whatever that like latches you, and then you really just have fun with it. It's one of the funnest hobbies, I think.
Well, you know what's crazy? Like when you're explaining that, that's the next step, bro. You guys are a part of, well, you guys have created an avenue for what is to come for comic books. You're explaining 40 years, 50, 60 years, sometimes 70 years of comic books to someone who's brand new to it via on a phone, via on a screen. That person's not even in front of you. That's the future.
I know.
That's the difference now. I'm a part of it, bro. You guys have changed my life. I tell all of you every time I stream with you guys, I say thank you very much. And then you guys always go, oh, for what? You gave us the product. And I go, dude, I used to sell my artwork alone, off the ground. You guys are now putting a screen on my stuff, and it's going somewhere. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I think Whatnot as a whole was like a really, Whatnot was really the backbone of why we're doing this, and then like really, for me, it's JPG, and then for JPG, it's probably Whatnot. But that platform being created, I think, has become such a fun way to like bring people in, because it's not like you're just buying a book. Like, when you buy stuff online, typically you're just looking at a page, scrolling, click buy, and then you have it shipped. I really enjoy the fact that you get to interact with people.
It's an experience overall.
Because it's like, it's kind of like you bring a swap meet or whatever it is, it's like a swap meet like you used to work at. You get you're not physically in front of them, but like you're able to reach more people, like from wherever. You know, we have buyers from all over the world. Some are local, some are, you know, LA, some are other states, some are just in other countries completely. And I think this platform has been such a fun way to like bring people into any hobby. You know, there's comics are on this platform, sports cards, trading cards, whatever. I just think it's a very fun way. Like I'm having a blast, like really mingling and interacting with people, and just seeing people get excited about the
Right.
hobby.
Right. No, and
So dope.
that is, bro. That's the future of it. So like, um, as far as like to answer that question, as far as what the next step is for me,
Mhm.
it's discovering what this new whatnot streaming thing will do, because what I'm gonna do in it is show the next to come what they could start at. Now someone broke can start here. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where I started at the swap meet. Now someone could just start on whatnot.
Yeah.
My friends, my young friends that do art, make a whatnot page and go stream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't even have to
that didn't
focus on the
exist.
sales. Like you could talk, not sell one thing, or you can just maybe that's like that will bring you in people, and eventually maybe hopefully generate some sales for you. But I think it's great. Just we're podcasting right now, and this is just like this is cool by itself.
This is an insane reality.
I know,
So,
this is
like,
dope.
What are we doing right now? You know what I mean? And but the reality is that there's something in culture that is changing, and we're a part of it, and we're gonna help innovate it.
Yeah.
And so
And push it.
the last part of that question, to kind of end it off there, you know, is with the art. I hope to be my favorite artist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Ever since I was like 16, I always had that. I want to be my favorite artist. Favorite artist.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So no, Jim Lee didn't say anything, but he didn't say it's shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey man, maybe I made an impact.
We'll take that.
We'll take that, bro. He sighed. I was like, dude, is it okay? You sighed. He's like, yeah, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I think we're almost at the mark. I think we can start to wrap it up. Is there anything you want to like tell the people watching? Is there anything specific you want them to know about you before we hop off, or like you want to plug anything? We're gonna finish out with a live sketch too. So
Okay, cool.
that would be dope. Do you want to? Is there anything in closing aspect of the interview itself? Is there anything you want to like let the people know that we didn't cover, or is there anything you want, you know?
You know, I don't have any
Closing
like
thoughts?
I don't have any like promo material as far as like stuff to like say, but I am just very appreciative of you guys, like all of you guys, as a whole. You know, so I tell you guys every time I see you, because tomorrow could be my last day. Today could be my last day.
Yeah.
And I just like would like you guys to know how much it means to me that I'm doing this. You know,
We love having. You're
and
great
you guys
energy.
are very evident about that, like that you guys appreciate what it is that I am and do, and again, I know you guys will always say thank you. You know what I mean? But it's like I can't wait to show you how much this really truly means to me. So no, I don't really have anything to promote, but thank you all. You know what I mean, for being here. JP, thank you for freaking being in existence. Because like I told him last time I saw him, bro, your passion for this culture is the reason why Whatnot works in the space that he's in. Whatnot, it's new to me. You know, I appreciate that it exists, and that alone changed everything for so many people to come. But people like JP are the ones that move the culture in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, push it and make it thrive to keep it alive.
Exactly. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. Yeah. Thank you, all of you. And I'm going to draw Spider-Man. if that's
Yeah,
okay.
Spider-Man.
I'm going to draw Spider-Man on this. Let's see.
Let's see how it turns out. So while you're drawing Spider-Man, like, is he a harder one for you to draw? Is there anything you like or enjoy about drawing Spider-Man compared to others?
I can draw Spider-Man with my eyes closed.
Really?
Yeah. No, not really, but like in essence of like, he's like my go-to. So like when I'm warming up, Spider-Man, Spawn, they're the characters for me that kind of get me there artistically, where I don't have to overthink and I can kind of
Just naturally comes.
yeah, like I just let the flow come through because there's so much an aspect of when I'm drawing that I do need to be inspired. And so if I'm not having a good day, that doesn't mean I can't draw that day. It just means I have to figure out how to use like my pain or frustration while I'm creating. But like lately, like with the whatnot stuff, I'm in such a good mood. And I'm so grateful and excited to even just be doing what I'm doing that I'm drawing quicker than ever. I'm enjoying what I'm actually creating. Where a lot of times I hate what I do because that's just I feel like the curse of an artist is to be critical, self-critical. But lately I'm like, you know what? I see it. I see where I'm about to take this. And so Spider-Man to me is that character that I'm glad that, like I said, to do this homage on. So I'm doing a Spider-Man piece here because Spider-Man saved my life, bro. You know, as silly as that might sound, he represents the young artist. You know, he represents a young person who has to make decisions for the betterment of not only his life but life. You know, Spider-Man could have been evil with that power, but his uncle told him that famous line: "With great responsibility, or with great power comes great responsibility," and then lost him. You know what I mean?
It's really crazy to see the impact that character has, like how he just sticks around, and it's just like that silhouette, that character is just it works. Even my son, he's just turned 3, and he's like attached to Spider-Man right now. He resonates with like all ages. It's crazy how big of an impact he. I think of all the comic book characters, Spider-Man is definitely the one that you know. He invokes that like little kid in you that always just wants to smile when you see him. You know, he has that effect.
Yeah, no, he's everything to me, bro. These characters are more than just comics to me. They're how I got through life. They're how I got through being alone as a kid in my room. I didn't have the best time, you know, making friends and keeping them. And Spider-Man never judged me. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, it's like that's why I love the new the multiverse one because it's like in that first movie they explain, you know, after he bought that like little suit out of the thing with
the
Stan
little
Lee,
costume suit.
he's like, well, what if it doesn't fit? And then Stanley goes, it always fits. And then right after that, Mary Jane is talking about how Peter represented that everyone could be Spider-Man. And in that moment, Miles is like, I know what I got to do.
Yeah.
I'm Spider-Man. And the kid goes, I think it's just a general statement thing. But it's like that point right there, like, it was, but you can't take that moment away from me.
Those movies are dope.
So dope,
I
bro.
need the part 2 from the last one. Hurry up and come out already.
Please. No, and that's why I say it's like you can only kind of have that type of magic, I believe, with a character like Spider-Man. Doesn't have to be Spider-Man. There's gonna be a new one, bro. There's gonna be a new character out there that just makes people feel like themselves, their best selves.
Who's your favorite Spidey villain?
Green Goblin.
Damn.
Green Goblin. Yeah, he's such a bastard, and
He is.
freaking caused so much turmoil and pain in Spider-Man's life after Gwen died, and you know, Spider-Man felt like it was his fault because he couldn't catch, or he caught her, but his catching her kind of it killed her.
I know you're a big McFarlane guy. What would it mean to you if, you know, so we kind of see it now with Todd having that license with the toys. You know, he's got that little license with Marvel to do these amazing toys that he's been putting out. What would you think of the comeback for Todd to do Spider-Man again? Maybe with like a Spawn collab.
I think it would be
because we've seen Batman and Spawn in a book together. Like, what would you think of that project? Like,
I think that by the time we see Spider-Man and Todd again through action figures and a Spawn collaboration and stuff like that,
I just need to see it in a book.
I think that that will be what is owed to Todd.
Yeah,
He gave Marvel
yeah.
the
Big time.
best Spider-Man, outside of the originals.
He's the innovator of the webbing too. I think his webbing is better than anyone's. He does the webbing the best.
Marvel owes Todd an apology. That's how I look at it.
And I need to see Venom have a little collab with Spawn because Venom does feel like he's he's like from that realm.
That's Todd almost giving away Spawn. That's how I look at it. Like before
Crazy character.
he left Marvel, Todd was 2 more designs away from giving away Spawn to Marvel, and I'm glad he didn't because he didn't. We got Spawn, but not only that. To me, like why Spawn's important to me, not just because he's such a cool character, he represents independence. He represents the movement, and like so when you see, bro, like so many artists have gotten their opportunity from drawing Spawn.
Yeah.
And that's all he means to. That's what he means to me. Not all he means to me, but that's what he means to me. So if I never do a Spawn book, that's okay. But that's like impossible. I know it's impossible. But Spawn represents independence to me. So by the time there's a official Spider-Man collaboration,
one day it needs to happen. Before I die, I just need to see like a Todd, Spidey, and Spawn like collab at least once.
it's to me, it's gonna be Marvel saying, "Sorry, bro, we didn't mean to push you to the edge," you know. But thank God that they did.
What about some of your? Do you partake in the hobby? Like, do you collect any? Is there any books you collect yourself? Either older books that are special to you, or do you have any personal favorite like Spidey books?
I always get McFarlane stuff. And you know what's funny is like I'm like the worst type of collector in the way of like I don't collect books because of the storyline. I collect books because of the artist that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm over here drawing. And that's how I collect. So like I got Jim Lee stuff, I got McFarlane stuff. So anything that I find of them, like bro, I just acquired like probably something of my holy grail of collections. Kevin Eastman, issue 4, first print.
Turtles?
Yeah. And
Ooh.
I just got that, bro. I traded it for a comic book that I had gotten for free like years ago. That's like now like a $200 book. And so I got some store credit from this one like vintage place, and I traded it. Nice. I mean, I was like, here, bro, because to me, it's like it was free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got like a $200 book.
Dope.
Yeah, so it was like it's so cool. But the reason why I got it was because, sorry, am I messing it up?
No, this is perfect.
The reason I got it is because you know he's like one of the first independent successes. Kevin and Peter, you know, they changed the landscape for people like McFarlane to create Image.
Dude, on our channel, Turtles is like one of the biggest sellers. Like, people love the Turtles.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what's to come with them. Like, the Turtles are awesome. And that was like my Saturday mornings revolved around the X-Men and the Turtles. Like, every Saturday morning, it was like that lineup for me was the Turtles cartoon and then X-Men.
Right.
And then Batman was like Batman and Spider-Man came on during the week. But Saturday mornings to me will always be the Turtles and the X-Men, bro. Like, I love Ninja Turtles.
Same, bro. Same. Yeah. So that it's like it's funny because I love everything in comics.
Yeah.
And I'll try to get as much as possible, but it's like if you go through my comic book collection, it's all Spawn from issue 1 to wherever it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have all the issues of Spawn?
I'm trying, but it's like me trying to go from the beginning to the end. I have everything that comes out since 300. But
some are hard to find, man. Some of those issues are short printed.
I couldn't find 300 for the longest time.
Yeah, like 300. Some of those, like early 3s, late or mid 2s, like they're kind of hard to track down.
Right, right. And now I'm like the ones that I'm collecting outside of Spawn, the Darkness and Witchblade. Those ones are I'm like very religious about. Like, okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna go get those because Mark. And yeah. I study the books. So it's not just about is the story dope. It's These guys came before me, and I wanna understand what it is that they brought to the game.
Yeah.
So anything like Jack Kirby, I try to pick up. You know what I mean? But again, I was drawing my character on top of Jack Kirby comics. I was drawing my stuff on top of McFarlane comic books. So like,
Yeah, as a kid, my only artistic itch was, getting tracing paper from Michaels. I had a Spider-Man Unlimited #1. I remember it's the first book from Maximum Carnage. I would sit there and try and trace Spidey
hell yeah.
religiously, and that's about as far as my artistic career went.
You know, that's how it starts. I was drawing coloring book. I was tracing coloring books. So it wasn't even comic books. I was tracing literally coloring books of Hulk. And I remember my brother, he literally put together, and he gave it to me years later. He put together all the stuff that I had traced when I was like 4.
Damn.
Into a
Kept
booklet.
It?
Yeah, I have it still.
Oh.
It was just so odd to me that he did that because he gave it to me when I was like 10. He was like, "Yeah, this is stuff when you were 4."
Sick.
You know what I mean? It was like, so, but it was all traced. I traced it all because I just, I wanted to do it, bro.
Yeah, I had one Spidey cover and then like Dragon Ball Z posters. I would trace those in hopes of one day
Yes.
something would come out of it, but nothing.
Yeah, man.
It's all right.
Yeah, and then my main thing right now is like how many comic books of my covers can I get? You know, I want that to be more of the collection than the actual collection that I have. Is like, because that means I did the work.
Nice. Are we gonna run that, or did you run it on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Officer Doofy bought that.
Dang,
Hey,
Doofy.
Doofy. Much
Doofy,
love, bro.
like me, he's a FedEx driver right now, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, me and Doofy bond over that all the time. It's
Hell
so
yeah,
funny.
bro.
Congrats, Doofy.
He always supports. Yeah,
He
thank
does,
you,
and
Doofy.
he's a huge Ninja Funk guy too.
I hope you dig this Spider-Man, man.
Awesome, Doofy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Well, guys, I think from here we'll close out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this segment with Zander. It was a treat to have him here. Oh. Oh, yeah.
You trying to take my gym lease?
Try to take
He's
the
trying to
gym
take my
lead,
gym
but
lead.
dude, Drewski tries to pull a fast one.
What the
over
heck,
there,
man?
bro. But all right, guys, appreciate you guys all spending some time with us and getting to know Zander on a more personal level. It's been a pleasure sitting down with him. So again, we just want to thank you guys, and you guys be on the lookout. We'll pop up with him at MegaCon, so make sure you guys follow that Spider-Man booth, and check out the IG as well. You're gonna see some dope drops for MegaCon coming up, I think this week. And Zander, you have any closing words you want to say?
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for helping me out throughout my journey all these years. But to the people that are like aspiring to be an artist, if you draw or if you create, you're an artist already. You don't have to have money to back you to be this thing. I was an artist the moment that I graduated high school and decided to call myself an artist. I've been doing it my whole life, and it took that crazy amount of confidence to just be myself, and it took a lot of delusion. But now that I'm like in a space where I realize like I actually put hard work into this thing, it's no longer a delusion. So just believe in yourself, because first and foremost, you are what you set out to be, and you are the thing that you feel deep inside of you. So I'm not anything special. Like there's nothing special about what it is I do outside of what you enjoy from it. And I enjoy this thing, comic books and toys. So I'm a fan first and foremost. So my whole purpose was to just do the thing that I love to collect and experience. So
Nice.
yeah. So thank you guys for being here.
No wiser words spoken than that. You heard it, folks. Well, appreciate you guys. Let's find someone to raid out to, and thank you guys again for being here.
Felt like a Tiny Desk performance.
All right. Are we still on right now?
No, we're
Okay.
off. We're off.
Dope.
Good to get done, boys.
Woo.
Can we get a quick picture?
Of course.